Hello, Ducks fans. Welcome to another episode of the Quack Report. Joined, as always, by Nate. And we're going to talk some Ducks hockey here. And my name is Carter. It's good to see some familiar faces in the chat once again. Lauren with a quack quack. Welcome back. Haven't seen you at all in season 4. Hope everything's going well there. And Allie as well. Hello, Allie. Saying hi to Lauren there. So, yeah. And if we got any new people joining the chat, feel free to drop a quack quack or hello down there. And if you're listening on Thursday as well, and you're like, what? A chat? How do we do that? That is on YouTube and Twitch every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Pacific time. You can tune in and hear and see our sweet, sultry voices. Well, you won't be able to see our voices, but you'll see us and hear our sweet, sultry voices on YouTube. And you can interact with us on YouTube there in the chat. We try and pull up questions as well based off of, or comments based off of what we're talking about there as well. I see Lauren has just dropped a prediction in the chat, which is kind of the theme of this episode, as we're going to be doing some division predictions as well as roster predictions for the Ducks. What does Lauren say? I haven't read this yet. A prediction I have is that Dallas Eakins will be fired if we do terrible this year. He should have already been fired last year. That is the coldest of predictions.
Yeah,
the coldest of takes I've ever seen. Because yes, I think he is on a very short leash there. And also saying, I can't wait until the Ducks live streams from THPN happen again this year. Yeah, tons of fun. We do watch alongs every so often on the THPN YouTube channel where we everyone can watch the game together. And we don't show the game, but we have some stats up. We talk, so you can put the show up or the game up on your TV and then have us on the side for some good interaction. So yeah, we'll be sure to let you guys know when we do that throughout the season here. We've had a wild day, both of us. So we just absolutely slapped our predictions together. And if you can tell, if you're not watching, Nate is frantically looking between his screen and writing things down as he is finishing up and putting the polish on
I have
his
been
predictions.
haywire over the last couple of days here. Like literally yesterday, I was trying to juggle 3 or 4 different school projects that and that was kind of today as well, was like trying to juggle 2. One was a paper though, and then it was like, oh crap, like I haven't even looked at stuff for this. So I am doing a little bit during the show, but we're kind of this is how it works, unfortunately, when you're a student and you're working, I guess, 2 different jobs in hockey, and you're trying to just do it all basically and still keep your sanity somehow with no caffeine and whatnot. So
Yeah.
I'm trying here. I'm trying.
Yeah, it's a struggle for sure. So yeah,
I'm doing all right otherwise though. Don't worry about me.
Which is good. That's very good. I have mine finished. I just happened to start a few minutes before Nate, and then so I'm done. But they're very slapped together, and as I'm looking at them, I'm like, do I want to move this person? So I don't know. We'll see. We might make some what's it? Audible calls. Is that what it's called in football?
Yeah,
you call an audible to like change the play, like in after you line up or whatever.
Yeah,
I follow.
You kind of see what's in front of you, and you change it up. Like, okay, that's not actually going to work. Let's change up what we're doing here. Yeah.
I follow football, but like I never really played it, so I don't know like all of the
the most I ever played
the terms and stuff like that.
It was like touch football in elementary school.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, I played center. Just because I was like, nobody else could actually like give the ball to the quarterback, like from a distance kind of thing.
Yeah.
So
you're nice and low to the ground, but like you got some power in your upper body, so you can just fire that ball back.
Dude, we're talking like up until I was like 11 or 12.
Okay.
Now, sure, okay.
Yeah,
I can see that, but
you were a stick back then.
Yeah, I was a stick. I was a small stick, and now I'm just as Carter described me, a small brick shithouse. So, yes. Man, but how was your weekend then?
Yeah, it was pretty good. What did I do this weekend? I feel like I did something exciting.
I know you went back home on the Monday, right, but you were doing something on the weekend as well. Yeah,
that's a good question.
What did you do?
What happened? Oh man. Oh yeah, that's right. On Saturday, me and my girlfriend, we went to the Potted Potter show. It's like a like a theater play. Have you heard of it?
No, I haven't.
Okay, it's
I
it's
am listening. If you're
oh
seeing
no,
me,
I know.
like,
Yeah, no.
yeah.
I've known you for a long time. I know that you pay attention even when it looks like you're not. So, yeah, it's like a parody on Harry Potter. So it's marketed as all 7 books in 70 minutes, and it's a 2-man show.
Ooh.
And it's in Vegas, so like it's like a legit like show, and that this is them like touring with it.
I was like, you went to Vegas and you just didn't
No,
bother to
no.
one,
Yeah, I just
tell
like
me,
casually
two,
flew to
invite me.
casually flew to Vegas to see a concert on a Saturday or a play on Saturday night. Came back.
Honestly, flights there could be cheap, so you
Oh,
never
yeah.
know.
Yeah. But yeah, it was we got tickets from my parents for, I think it was for my birthday. I think was what it was for. So, but yeah, it was just at like the local theater here.
Okay.
So, and yeah, and it was really good. It was like it was hilarious. It's like it's related to Harry Potter, and like a lot of the jokes come from Harry Potter, but it's really just like British slapstick comedy meets SNL. Like it's just wild and all over the place, and like even if
Yeah.
you're not a Harry Potter fan, you can enjoy it, and I know you are, so like you would still
Yeah.
enjoy it. And there's tons of pop culture references. It's just so funny. It's
Nice.
yeah. So would definitely recommend to anybody listening, if you have like even just the tiniest knowledge of Harry Potter and you like British humor, it's definitely
Go
for
check
you.
it out. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So without getting too much into it and spoiling it and telling you the entire plot, that's all I'll say about it. But
Well,
yeah,
I
it
mean,
was really
when,
good.
when did the first book first book came out in 97,
97, yeah.
and the last book came out, oh man, what year did the last book come out? Not the last movie.
I think I looked it up and I think it was 2006 or 2007.
I know I was old
I
enough
just
that I
looked it
could
up,
read
but-
it.
Yeah. So yeah, maybe it was a little later. Okay, the movie was 2010, but we want the book. Yeah, 2007, July 2007.
Okay, because yeah, the movies definitely caught up to the books. Because the first movie
close.
was 99. It was only 2 years after the book came out. I
Are
think.
you sure? I thought it was 2001.
No, because the Chamber of Secrets was 2002, and the reason I know that for certain is because I had a poster of it was like a promotional poster, and it had Dobby on it with the date,
Oh, okay.
and it was in my room as a kid.
Yeah, no, the movie was 2001.
Oh, was
Philosopher's
it?
Stone. Yeah.
Okay, then was Chamber of Secrets 2003 then?
Okay.
Or was it 2002?
If we're gonna go through all of this, I need to just pull.
Yeah,
up
we're
the whole
going through
film
all of
series.
this.
Okay.
It's giving me a bit more time too. But I'm also like
Little bit,
trying to remember this.
Okay, so
This is the shit I'm normally good at.
Philosopher's Stone, or if you're American, Sorcerer's Stone, is 2001. Chamber of Secrets is 2002. Prisoner of Azkaban, 2004.
Oh, they were only a year apart. Okay.
Yeah, well, Prisoner of Azkaban was 2 years after, 2004. 2005 was Goblet of Fire. 2007 was Order of the Phoenix. Half-Blood Prince was 2009, and then Deathly Hallows Part 1 was 2010.
Okay, impromptu.
And then 2011 for Part 2.
Okay, impromptu Unplugged. We should probably do one though on Harry Potter.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you. My favorite book is my least favorite movie out of the series. Can you
Really?
guess which one?
Favorite book is your least favorite movie. Is it? Was your favorite book Order of the Phoenix, but your least favorite movie?
Yes.
Okay, because I know that movie was kind of divisive.
And
obviously I had to cut a lot out of it because the book is fucking
and that's part
monstrous.
of it for me. Yeah, like that is the longest book. It's like 700. It's like in like the 760s for pages or something like that. Like there's a lot of story there, and like it did good for being in a condensed runtime, right? And not splitting it up like the Deathly Hallows did. If you cut out, like there were some things that got cut out of the Deathly Hallows, but like the main, like the big points, and there's a lot of them in the book, are all there. But I feel like there was a couple things missing out of the Order of the Phoenix.
Oh, definitely.
The movie, right? And like a couple things just seemed kind of sudden. But yeah, so it's my least favorite movie, but it's my favorite book out of the series, I would say.
Yeah, that's fair.
So
Ali says the entire plot for Potter, I'm assuming, would just be the plot to Harry Potter. That's yeah, basically. So the
Yeah.
idea, I'll get just to get a little more
That's
into
why
it,
I
is
was.
that
Sorry, go
the
ahead.
the main guy is a massive Harry Potter fan, and he wants to put on a play that is the plot of Harry Potter, and the other guy has no knowledge of Harry Potter, but he is acting as every single other character because he blew all the money on the actors and actresses he was supposed to hire. He blew it on just dumb props that aren't even actually related to the plot. So it's so yes, it's
I
about the
love that
plot of
premise,
Harry Potter,
actually.
but it's like it's kind of like a if I could tell you just all the points you need to know about Harry Potter in like each book in like 5 minutes. That's kind of what it is, and then there's just like random shit in between. So it's really hard to explain and do it justice, but it is actually really good. So, and then Ali also says Order of the Phoenix best book, Prisoner of Azkaban best movie. Yeah, I think that's kind of the shared sentiment there. I personally really like Half-Blood Prince as the movie and the book. I don't know if it's my favorite because it's been a long time since I've read the books, but as a movie, I really enjoyed it. But Prisoner of Azkaban is also really good.
The Half-Blood Prince for the book is missing a lot, I find, about the Half-Blood Prince. Or sorry,
Mhm.
as a movie is missing a lot about the Half-Blood Prince.
Yeah.
And
It's also missing a lot about Dumbledore because if I remember correctly, the book
yeah,
had a lot of his backstory, or it might have been Deathly Hollows that had that. But either way,
it was kind
it's
of
missing.
both of them, I think, with the
Yeah.
Pensieve. But yeah, specifically for sorry, pull it up again. What year did the book come out? What year did the movie come out? Half-Blood Prince.
For Half-Blood Prince,
Yeah.
book was 2005. Movie was, where did that go? 2009. Yes, 2009.
Okay, well, it's almost 15 and 20 years old, respectively, just
Yeah.
eyeballing in my head kind of thing.
Mhm.
But the movie, when Snape just reveals that he's the Half-Blood Prince, there wasn't nearly as much lead up to it
Mhm.
for that reveal, I guess.
Yeah.
There's kind of like
No,
one
which
or
is
two
fair. Yeah.
things, right? Like you had like the fight with Draco, and there's the couple. There's like a little bit of the montage with the
Mhm.
like for like the potions and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But that's really it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Exactly.
Like from what I remember, at least, and mind you, it's been a while since I've read these. Like since I've read the books, it's been a while since I've just like actually sat down and read a book in general. But,
Hmm.
like there was a lot more lead up and kind of like, um, from some parties' investigation as to who the Half Blood Prince may have been and that kind
Yeah.
of thing, right? And like
Mhm.
a bit more turmoil over it for Harry of like, okay, like should I get rid of the book? Like, is this like actually right? Or like should I
Yeah.
continue using it because I'm doing better in school and
Mhm.
that kind of thing? And I'm like learning all these new things. And
Yeah.
so like there's a lot more buildup that is the struggle with like novel adaptations. And I mean, like it's a cliche saying, but yes, the books are always going to be better than the movies, I
Yeah.
find.
Yeah. No, and I think that this is probably one of the best film franchises in terms of adaptations because
Yeah.
they're able to show a lot of the things that are written in the books. Yeah,
Mhm.
there's like a lot of that turmoil of should I get rid of the book, should I keep it with Harry, like in the book, but you don't get as much of that in the movie. And I agree, but you
Yeah.
still you definitely get that just by the way he's acting and stuff. So it does a really good job, but it's still not perfect. But
Yeah. Okay,
I
what's your favorite movie? And then we can wrap up the Harry Potter
yeah, sure.
conversation. Like I said,
Yeah.
we can dive more into it another time.
Yeah, definitely.
But
My favorite movie and it's entirely for nostalgia reasons, is Goblet of Fire. That was my go-to road trip movie when that came
okay, I was
out.
gonna
I
ask, what are
watched
the
it.
nostalgia reasons?
What's that?
I was
Oh
gonna
yeah.
say, like, what are the nostalgia reasons for that?
Yeah. No, like literally any road trip we went on that summer, I had that DVD in actually I guess it would have been for 2 years because there was 2 years. Yeah. There was 2 years
2 years
between that and
between.
Order of the Phoenix.
Yeah.
So, and I would put it in when we left town, and it would be over, and then I would play Game Boy or DS or whatever it was I had at that point, and then I'd put the movie in again. Like I would watch it like twice a road trip if possible, and then I'd do the same thing on the way back. I fucking loved that movie, and I have no idea why, but it was just good.
My favorite thing, and again, you're not on TikTok, which we gotta get you on it because your
I
algorithm will
can't.
make something for you, but and then it's easier for me to send you shit as well. As your buddy Adam, like we just bombard each other with different stupid videos that we find.
Mhm.
But there was one like kind of like theme kind of going around, and it was from the end of the Goblet of Fire. Okay, by the way, full spoilers for Harry Potter. This franchise has been out
too
for
long.
forever.
Yeah.
But like when Harry brings back Cedric's body, right?
Mhm.
And everyone's just like, oh, somebody's back. And so, you know, the band starts playing and everybody's celebrating and that kind of thing. And Harry's just like over like Cedric's dead body kind of thing.
Mhm.
Everybody's been making TikToks about that and just like the awkwardness of that situation, basically.
Yeah.
So I'm just like,
Wild.
yeah, some dude in the top row is just like absolutely hammered at this point, celebrating that like this has happened for however long, like first time in however long kind of thing, right? And it's just
Mhm.
like, and then it's just like Harry like crying over some guy who just got killed because Voldemort's back. It's like the awkwardness of it, basically.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it is kind of
yeah,
cringy when you just think of it on its own. But
and also that was the movie that everybody had long hair.
yeah,
Everybody had long hair.
yeah. That was Ali's comment here. Goblet of Fire. I mean Harry Potter in the year
Yeah.
nobody got a haircut. Yep.
Which works perfect for Ron's hand-me-down robes,
Mhm.
the dress robes that he got for the Yule Ball.
Yeah.
So I'm actually kind of, but again, I haven't watched the movies or read the books in a while. I'm actually surprised like how many things I'm just remembering off the top of my head actually right now.
Yeah. Yeah. You should come over and we can play Harry Potter Trivial Pursuit.
I'm down for that.
Yeah. Me and you can be on a team, and then we can just get smoked by my girlfriend because that's
Sounds
how
good.
it works. But
Sounds good.
but I don't know. You seem to have a pretty good knowledge of it, so we might do okay.
I'm decent.
Yeah. Ali also says Lord of the Rings is better. I'm not going to say which one's better or not, but I think it's also very good.
I'm going to get roasted in the comments here. I unfortunately cannot comment on that because I have not read or seen Lord of the Rings.
Yeah,
at all.
Disgrace. And J.K. Rowling is trash. And
yes, we can agree on that part.
Okay, to rein us back in here. Sorry. We got to bring up Richie here. Accidentally commented, as my other account, Azkaban is the GOAT movie. This is his other account here. Azkaban is the best Harry Potter movie. Alfonso Cuarón basically remade the franchise with that one. Yeah, it
is a really good one.
It's so good. Yeah.
I
wish I gave it more credit as a kid, but I just loved Goblet of Fire too much. But when I rewatched them all, I think it was last year. I went through all the movies again, and I was like, oh man, this is actually a really good fucking movie. So definitely. Okay.
Yeah, and
go ahead.
One more thing for Azkaban, that again, this is where like Goblet of Fire and Order of the Phoenix especially need to lean a little bit more into.
Mhm.
Gary Oldman as Sirius Black, fantastic,
perfect
casting choice,
absolutely perfect.
And I like, especially for the Order of the Phoenix, right? Like if you read the books, like that was a part that like made you tear up.
Mm-hmm.
And like I don't tear up reading a book. I definitely tear up watching a movie because I'm a lot more of a visual person.
Yeah.
But like reading a book, like that death, Dobby in the Deathly Hallows, and
Hedwig.
Not even Hedwig, actually.
No, really?
No. And the ending of Marley and Me, like as the book. Those are the only books I think that have actually made me cry.
Yeah. In addition to Dobby and Sirius, Dumbledore really got me in Half-Blood Prince.
I think for the book, I was just more in shock for it than like upset.
Yeah. Yeah, which is fair.
But story-wise, it kind of made sense.
It did.
So,
but as a kid, I was just like, no, Dumbledore, he's got like such a great beard. And he's like Harry's dad, and now he's dead again. Harry's dad after Sirius and his real dad, you know?
Yeah. When was that? Back in, it was 2019. Yeah, I have pictures of it of like, my beard has been a lot longer than this.
Mm-hmm.
I was at a wedding this weekend, and somebody even commented actually of like, I think it's the shortest I've ever seen your beard, like with you having a beard.
Yeah.
But like I had it like that I could like straighten it, and it came down probably to the TQR logo. Good. Like it was long at one point. And I always joked, I'm like, I'm just gonna let it keep going and like be able to tuck it in my belt loop like Dumbledore. And but then it kind of like got to that point, and I'm just like, this is actually more annoying than anything right now because it wasn't like out and down, kind of like a Hagrid in a way, but it was just like more just straight down.
Yeah.
So, or it was like right up and outwards. There was no middle ground basically for it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, yeah.
All right. To tie us back to the sports conversation here, which is the point of this show mostly.
Yeah, we talked 20 minutes about Harry Potter, and I'm
Yeah.
almost done. I'm almost on my
Okay.
prediction, so we're okay here.
Sounds good. Not totally going back to hockey yet, but Lauren, I know, is a big NFL fan in the chat. We usually have some NFL talk. Nate and Carter, what have you been doing this NFL season? For her, she's been turning into Steelers live streams and making Steelers videos, which you can check out if you're watching. Her handle is on there that you can look for. She makes some great content and has some Ducks content as well once we get into the season. So
Yeah.
it's a good supplement for the Quack Report for sure. And then also I've been tuning in to the SC Blitz podcast, the Steelers podcast from the Pigskin Podcast Network, which is associated with the Hockey Podcast Network. So nice shout out there from Lauren. She's basically doing my job for me, promoting sports talk, saying what they've been doing, and then saying, hey, go check out this sports talk from the network if you like this. It's perfect. Thank you, Lauren. You make my job so easy. Nate, what have you been doing? Have you been watching NFL? I know you're not always into it, but
no, I'm not a massive NFL guy. Like, I don't get me wrong, like I enjoy the sport of football.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But football is a lot more of a social game for me, I guess. And maybe that's just because I'm not as heavily invested in it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I love going to a football game. Like Calgary Stampeders are close by to us, and I went to did I just draw on the inside of my hat? Oh, it's a black hat. We're all good. Yeah, last Labor Day, went to the Stampeders and Elks, right? And that was the first football game I had, besides like high school, I'd been to in like quite a few years. Had a lot of fun there at it and everything like that. Shout out to Chris and Lindsay, who we met up with. And but yeah, like it's not something maybe for like background noise kind of thing if it's available on like a streaming service that I have. But the NFL is not something I normally go out of my way to watch. It's a lot more of a social thing, like Super Bowl parties or something like that. So
yeah, which is fair.
Would I like to get into it a bit more? Yes, that and the NBA. But with the amount of hockey stuff that I do and lacrosse as well as my other main thing, right? It's like I just gotta get dragged in all different directions with those at least. So
yeah.
But I don't know. I have a Bears jersey that I won. Was that last November?
Yeah, when we were in Edmonton. I think we've told that story on here before. But yeah.
But it also worked out because my stepdad is a Bears fan, right? So like I did, like when I was a kid growing up, like the Bears were always on TV with my stepdad. So if I had to put a Legion somewhere, it would be Chicago, I guess. But if I were to pick a team, and this is the case where I would pick a team purely based on looks, actually, I'd probably go with Baltimore. Actually, I like the purple and
the purple's
white.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's
so,
cool.
Or I'd follow my uncle and go for the Rams. So he's been a diehard Rams fan since like the first time they were in LA, kind of thing. Moved to St. Louis, went back to LA. So
yeah. I mean LA too. So like that fits with Anaheim there.
What I've actually been doing during the football season, though, and again, this shows you how much I really pay attention to it, is placing a singular bet. On a game. And it wasn't even like on the game itself. It was another betting app that I use that's not DraftKings.
Because they're not available for us, which is why. Otherwise, they're fantastic.
DraftKings for us is daily fantasy, so which I'm still trying to figure out my way around, but we're happening. But yeah, this other site had a like a promotional bet kind of thing. And it was like I recognize names in that. So it was Aaron Rodgers to throw a touchdown pass. Was it was like plus 100 or 150. I think.
I think you said it was plus 100. It was basically double your bet when you told me about it.
Yeah. And so I messaged a couple buddies about it that were more football inclined. And I was like, okay, I know who Aaron Rodgers is, and like I know that he's a good quarterback, but like, is there something going on that this would happen? And they're like, no, it's probably just that, they don't have enough like money on that game or something like that. So here's a quick promotion thing a couple hours beforehand. So, and then, one friend was just like, I was like, oh, okay. So like, it's the closest thing to a guarantee that you can get within gambling kind of thing, right? Remember, play responsibly, everybody. And he's like, let me put it this way. We could get stuck in the middle of a game and he would get us with a touchdown pass. And I'm like, okay, sure. Sounds good. We'll put that down. So yeah, I doubled my bet that I put down. So I think it's like I made $12 that night. So
Nice.
I put,
Solid.
Yeah. So it was good.
Nice. Yeah. I wanted to get more into NFL this year, and I was like, I need to, and I need to have something that keeps me accountable. So I joined a fantasy football league with some guys that I'm in a fantasy hockey league with.
Story about this that we were supposed to tell a couple.
I did, and
ago, I think
I did, and I don't remember what it was. I was just upset because
you said there was some bullshit, basically.
Because my team. Oh yeah, I remember what it was. So the Buffalo Bills were playing. This was after I think week 2. The Buffalo Bills were playing Monday Night Football, and my guys were done for the week, and then the other guy had 3 guys from Buffalo, but I was so far ahead. The Yahoo Fantasy app predicted I had a 97% chance of winning because I was so far ahead in that week with my other guys. He's like, there's basically no chance. Like, he had the quarterback and he had a receiver from Buffalo. I don't remember which one. And I think he had I want to say like a tight end. And then he had the Buffalo defense. And I was like, they just got to have a monster game. Like, all of these guys need to put up 20 points for him to win because, I think he was behind by like 60 some points. And Buffalo won that game like 41-3 or whatever the fucking score was. And like the quarterback threw like 3 or 4 touchdown passes, 2 of them to the wide receiver. The defense was like monstrous. And then I lost the week. The guy had a 3% chance of beating me and I fucking lost. And I was so mad.
Rip.
Richie here saying, oh, that Bills Titans. Yes, that's who it was against. Bills Titans game was a fantasy nightmare for so many people. Yeah. But I've gotten good now. So I was 0-2 at that point. Now I'm 2-2. So I've gone on a bit of a tear there. So I'm doing well. And I've just been putting on NFL Red Zone, which is like all of it like flips between the games for you and shows you all the good shit, which is
cool.
awesome. Yeah. So it makes it very easy to follow along for that. So yeah, I've been doing all right.
That's all right then.
Yeah. And I don't have a favorite team yet. I do hate Buffalo for that fucking game in week 2 though. So I have a least favorite team. But I don't have a favorite yet.
Okay, now I feel like if we're going for vibes, you got to go Buffalo though. Like if you're someone like us who's like just going into it kind of thing, if you're going on vibes alone, I feel like it's got to be Buffalo.
Oh, absolutely.
For like the table smashes and everything like that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, definitely. Like I kind of was liking them, like starting to like them. I was like, oh man, this team is like actually really good, which in contrast to the Sabres is wild. But then they ruined my week 2 fantasy. So yeah. But yeah, that's what we've been doing. And if you want some more NFL talk, because we're not going to talk too much about that here. That's probably all we've got for the season until Super Bowl. The Super Bowl comes around. As Lauren said, you can check out the Pigskin.
It's going to be about the halftime show.
Yeah, you can check out the Pigskin Podcast Network, which is affiliated with the Hockey Podcast Network. They got tons of great content out there that you can check out as well. So definitely go do that. Okay, let's get into some hockey talk. Oh God, it's been half an hour. Yeah, let's get into some hockey talk.
If you're still here after all this Harry Potter and football talk for a hockey podcast, thank you very much.
We appreciate it. Yeah, not everyone
Or if you just skipped to this point, hi, how's it going? We're back.
Yeah, that's like I should definitely do that for this episode when I put it out. I should be like, if you want to skip Harry Potter and NFL talk, just jump half an hour into the episode.
That's something that quite a few shows do is like they'll if you're able to do it, they timestamp like when certain conversations are.
I used to do that, but then I was like, I don't care enough anymore. It's like, this is too much work. I just want to get the episode out. So
okay, maybe good for this at least.
For this one, for sure. Yeah.
Just like, okay, Harry Potter and football talk, and then let people just listen to that whole section and figure out when the football talk is going to start.
Yeah.
And then go into the hockey talk and that kind of thing. Yeah. So, but especially for this, because we're going to break down all 4 divisions and give our way too early season predictions that we're going to get probably about 30% right.
Maybe that's a generous 30%.
That's a generous 30%. I think we got about. I'd be curious to take a look at our picks last year and see like what we got correct again.
Yeah, when we have more time, we can run that. I know we did pretty well in the Pacific, but we didn't do well on the other ones. So
I had the Kraken way too high,
Yeah,
but I guess for a team that like you've literally never seen on the ice, right?
yeah, exactly.
Hit or miss. So
Yeah. Before we get into the division predictions, though, we will just do it like kind of a Ducks preseason recap since the last episode. So the Ducks have played 3 preseason games since then. One of them again being against the Sharks. I guess that was the oldest one. That was the one where Vakinen got had some problems. Did you ever see that? I don't know if
I didn't see what the. I read a description of what happened. I wasn't able to find video of it, unfortunately, or fortunately, maybe considering he got taken out on a stretcher. But
yeah.
everything that I read though was that he's moving, he's fine,
Mhm.
looks to make
Out of
a
the hospital
quick
recovering.
recovery. Yeah, so
Yeah. So yeah, it was just like it, he was tripped, but it wasn't. It absolutely wasn't intentional. It was a routine play. You see it all the time, but he just kind of went down weird. So because he
yeah,
made the pass to Grant, but I don't even remember the Sharks defender's name. He just kind of went to chop at his stick and then ended up taking out one of his legs, and then he went headfirst into the boards, and it was like totally freak accident. Like it's the type of shit, like the type of play you see every single game, but it just went slightly more poorly this time. But
yeah.
yeah, thankfully he's okay. So, yeah, Comtois got a goal in that game as well, assisted by Strome and Terry. So that could be an interesting line to look out for come when the season starts there. Barn burner the other night. Well, barn burner for preseason 5-4 against LA. Derek Grant with a goal there. Jones with a couple of goals. Vetrano from Klingberg and Terry. That was his second of the preseason. So we're starting to get some of the more veterans in, and it looks like they're doing pretty well. Pavel Regenda is still going off. He's got 3 goals and 3 assists in however many preseason games. I guess it would probably tell me if I tapped on his name. I don't know if it shows preseason stuff, though. No, it doesn't. Yeah, so I don't know how many games that's in, but like he still looked really, really good, and we talked about him a lot last time, so we won't go too much into it there. But yeah, I don't know. It's looking all right. Like we're gonna have some guys, I think, this year that are gonna, I don't want to say break out, but definitely have solid follow-up seasons to last year or rebound seasons. I think that's kind of the trajectory we're going on. So yeah, it's exciting. And did you have anything you wanted to add specifically about the games or guys that stood out to you, or not?
One name, I'm trying to find stats for him just to even take a bit more of a look. Like I said, I've been a little panicked today, kind of everywhere.
Which is fair.
I apologize for my not usual organization for this show. Rocco Grimaldi, though, has been making his way on my Twitter page quite a bit, on both the personal and the Quack Report ones. So because the personal one's obviously a lot of like a mix of a bunch of stuff. Anaheim, Calgary, different sports, different movies, music, and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But like every now and then, like you'll just be kind of scrolling, and like, especially obviously like preseason days, Rocco Grimaldi is popping up in there. So like I'm trying to find some stats on him here if you got anything for me.
I have his stats from last year in the AHL and the few games he played in the NHL, but I know he's been around for a while.
Yeah,
so.
52 and 44 games last year with the Milwaukee Admirals in the AHL. No points in 7 games with Nashville last year, though. But
yeah, that's all I have just in front of me right now. But I know he did have a solid couple of years in the NHL with Nashville as like a bottom 6 forward, and I don't really know what happened, why he never continued to be on an NHL roster and then kind of was sent down to Milwaukee. But it's I'm glad to see him being here. Actually, he's from Anaheim. Oh yeah, I think I read that actually. Him and Chase DeLeo were from Anaheim. There's an article about them fighting for a roster spot together.
I would be curious to know how many, because you always hear, especially for the bigger markets, especially Canadian markets, like Toronto, right, or Calgary, Edmonton, if we're looking in our division. or even take a look at like Minnesota. You always hear of like, oh, it's the hometown kid, right? Or even like St. Louis with Patrick Maroon for however long,
Yeah.
or for the one season. But it was the hometown kid, right? Is playing on with a big club now. How many hometown kids has Anaheim had?
Yeah, that's a good question. You
You don't really hear about that, right? Like for the
Yeah.
longest time, right? Like with Getzlaff and Perry, those were Canadians, right?
hmm
For at least the bigger names kind of thing, right? Like not saying that Rocco Grimaldi would be a big name on the Anaheim Ducks, but like
Yeah.
just kind of thinking, right? Yeah, and even now, right? Zegras is New York, isn't he? I feel like he's New York.
That's a good question. I don't actually know.
Drysdale's Canadian.
Yes.
Oh man,
Zegras is from New York. Yeah.
I'm testing myself now. Fowler's Canadian.
I think he's. Yeah, I think so. I thought Anaheim for a second, but I don't actually know.
Canadian-born American. So I would have technically had that wrong either way.
Yeah. In terms of players from Anaheim, NHL players from Anaheim, there is Rocco Grimaldi, Ian McCoshen, and Cam York. And that's it.
Like from Anaheim specific. Okay. So yeah,
Apparently,
Rocco Grimaldi, I guess, would be.
Oh wait.
Is that just current guys?
No, because Ian McCoshen only played from 2016 to 2019. This seems
okay.
This seems, yeah. No, there's 3 NHL players from Anaheim. There's 74 players alphabetically from Anaheim, but like they're like university level, like NCAA or like junior kind of Swedish leagues, whatever. But yeah, no, there's only 3 specifically from Anaheim. Yeah, there's quite a few more from California. I did kind of look at that, but there's too many to just go through. So yeah. No, Rocco Grimaldi would be the only one from Anaheim specifically to play in Anaheim if he signs a contract off his PTO.
Yeah. Okay. There's a couple comments here from Ali that I just want to address. Yes, I know hockey's not as big of the thing in California, but it definitely is growing, right? I mean, there's a reason that the NHL 23 cover has palm trees on it this year, right? With a Ducks player prominent on the front, which I think for the North American releases, that's the first. No, that's the second time I think a California team's been put on the cover.
Yeah, because Kopitar's been on the cover, has he not?
I don't think for North American release, at least.
Oh, okay.
Because you're
talking
like,
North American, yeah.
Yeah, like there is like different, like in like Sweden and Finland. Like
there's the European ones,
athletes kind of on the cover, but okay, I'm going down this rabbit hole here.
Yes, though, Rocco Grimaldi has been pretty solid this preseason. That's where we came from. I was like, how the fuck did we get here? But yes, Rocco Grimaldi. Yeah, I think he's only got the 1 goal though in preseason. Oh, thanks NHL app for crashing on me.
Okay, I'm wrong on a technicality, I guess, because the very first game, NHL hockey had Glenn Healy from the LA Kings. I guess in that case, I am just wrong.
Yeah, you're just wrong there. Yeah.
NHL 94 had Thomas Sandstrom from the LA Kings, but also Andy Moog from the Boston Bruins because it's an action shot.
Oh, okay. So he's in there, but
yes, but it's like not just him. So I was thinking Owen Nolan from San Jose in 2001.
Oh, okay. It's a name I haven't heard in a long time.
Yeah, right. And then since then, that's the first California team represented on the NHL covers since Owen Nolan's San Jose Sharks for NHL 2001.
Interesting. Yeah, but I mean, Rocco Grimaldi, I've heard a lot about him as well, and like we said before, like we don't watch a ton of preseason stuff, so like it's hard to really comment personally on what we see in him, but
I'm more going off of like Twitter, just
Yeah.
like fan reactions and project and like what reporters are saying in that for the preseason at least.
yeah, exactly. And like I
Which
just know
maybe
Rocco
isn't
Grimaldi
great,
from Nashville in the past, and like I know he's been a solid player who works hard. He gets goals every once in a while. Like I think he could be a really good addition to the team. So yeah, no, I'm actually glad you brought him up. But
Yeah. Okay. Other comments that I wanted to address here.
Yeah.
Ali, Jason Robertson is from Southern California. Yes, he's from Arcadia, which is a 38-minute drive to Anaheim. I'll call that close enough.
Pretty close, yeah.
It's a bit more LA, but Anaheim and LA kind of overlap a little bit, right?
Similar,
So I don't know. LA fans can come fight me for that one, but Jason Robertson could maybe be seen as a hometown kid if he were to come to Anaheim.
at that point,
if Dallas doesn't want to pay him the money that he fucking deserves. God, their owner is fucking cheap, it seems.
Yeah.
Complaining that like, oh, the scorers want money. It's like, yeah, and you have how many millions into Sagan and Jamie Benn at this point in their career still?
Yeah.
And then the last thing here, if you would have told me Regenda would still be on the roster, but Zellweger wouldn't be, I would have been too surprised. Would have been or wouldn't have been, Ali? If I'm going with would have been like surprise kind of thing. We talked about this on the last episode because there was a bunch of guys that got sent down to the CHL, whether it be WHL, OHL, QMJ. But Zellweger specifically back to Everett there, that's not a bad thing, right? Let him go tear it up, develop a little bit more, set. I think that he's probably like set for like a record in Everett with the silver tips this year or something like that.
Probably,
like
yeah.
he was putting up crazy numbers last year. So let him go tear it up, right? He only just like I think he's 19. Let him go tear it up in that league. So
I just would have liked to at least see him get the 9 games like McTavish
I would have
last
too,
year, right?
Yeah.
Like because he's definitely earned that, but
I feel like it's different.
But
though,
I do understand.
I feel like it's different for defensemen over forwards, though. Right?
Yeah,
for giving those 9 games, like for defensemen,
it's
like all positions take development, but defense in the NHL is a lot different than defense in the WHL, which is the league that Zellweger will play in. And especially in a league like the WHL where it's very run and gun hockey, that's almost the better place for him to do it, right? Because if he's shutting down oppositions consistently, right, in a high scoring league like the WHL, that could kind of work out for him actually.
Yeah.
Think of it as getting more in-game reps, right?
Yeah, exactly. Okay, let's this is kind of still a related conversation, but let's transition more into the training camp roster that the Ducks have cut down to. So they are left with 15 forwards, 12 D, and 2 goaltenders. So we're almost at that that final roster going into the season. Lucas Dostal was just sent back very, very recently back to the AHL. So Gibson and Stolars are going to be the guys to start the season at least, and hopefully we'll see Dostal at some point. Hopefully not due to injuries. Hopefully just due to us wanting to call him up. But
I know there was an Eric Stevens tweet that was talking about Dostal being sent down, and I even said on that, I was like, I wouldn't be surprised though, like just like people like just kind of the same thing I was saying on last week's episode. Just calm down a second here, right? Because obviously it was going to be Stolars and Gibson, and it's like, going to be
what did you expect?
Barring, and it's going to be that barring 3 different circumstances here. But like that we will see. I'd say we see Stolars probably, or not Stolar. Oh my God, Dostal next year. Unless they were to re-sign Stolars, but at the same time, I feel like you don't want to stifle the progression of Stolars there. So that's why I feel like we're going to see him next year Why am I getting those 2 mixed up? Why?
I have no idea.
Why? Try to keep up with me here, people. I'm trying to keep up with myself here, apparently. But we're either going to see him this year. Like, if the less we see of Dostal this year, the better, because that means he's getting reps in with San Diego. And we only see him this season for 3 different reasons, I think. And I'll go from most likely to least likely. All right.
Okay.
So most likely somebody gets hurt, right? So
Yeah.
obviously you're
It
going to call him up.
happens. Yeah.
It's going to be
he's number one on the
with
call
either,
list. Yeah.
it's going to be Dostal with Stellaris or with Gibson there. Second most likely, depending on, because Stellaris, I'm just double checking this here, but if I 99% hopeful that I have this right in my head, that Stellaris is a upcoming UFA.
Yes.
Okay, so if Anaheim is not in a playoff position come near the trade deadline, they're going to look to shop Stellaris, I think, because especially like to a playoff team that maybe needs just a little bit more assurance in goal.
Yeah, like
because
they had their backup go down, or they just want to get a third guy to carry with the playoffs in case something happens. Like, yeah,
exactly, because he is a solid goaltender, right? Like we haven't really talked a whole lot of, especially last season, we didn't talk a whole lot of, not that we talked trash about the guys, right? But like not a whole lot of negatives to Stellaris last year. Like there's some backups. Yeah, like there's some backups where you like see them and it's like, oh, okay, yeah, we'll probably lose this game, but it's kind of it's whatever kind of thing, right? You never really felt that, or at least I didn't when I saw okay, starting goalie tonight is Anthony Stellaris, right? You're like, oh, sweet, like we got, I would say, as good, depending on the time of the season, maybe better than chance to win than Gibson. So, third least likely, but it's out there and it's been out there for a while. If Anaheim really wants to shake things up, trade John Gibson. So, and again, that would be a thing that's closer to the deadline. I feel like you're not going to be trading Gibson in the middle of the season or whatnot. So,
not for no reason, no.
But so like I said, most likely to least likely injury. Stellaris gets traded at the deadline. If we're not in a playoff position, Gibson somehow gets moved. So, otherwise, Dostal hang out in San Diego. I mean, you'll catch the Rays in Anaheim or San Diego either way. And just have some fun, play a lot of hockey. We'll see you next year.
Yeah. Let's talk about forwards next, since that's kind of the closest to what the roster will look like, with them having 15 forwards at training camp and you cut down to 12. 12 to play in a game, but I think a lot of teams carry 13 forwards.
Yeah, 13. Yeah,
13 or 14 usually, depending.
Yeah.
So this is basically what our forwards are going to look like for the year, barring just a slew of injuries. Well, I guess one of these is Sam Carrick, who's injured right now. So really we're at 14. But Max Comtois, Glenn Godden, Derek Grant, Rocco Grimaldi, Adam Henrique, Max Jones, Isaac Lundestrom, Mason McTavish, Pavel Regenda, Jakob Silverberg, Ryan Strome, Troy Terry, Frank Vetrano, Trevor Zegras. Those are all guys in my mind that are able to play in the NHL. I guess the only the one who's the least proven in the NHL is Glenn Godden, but he is, how old is this guy? 25. He's played tons in the AHL. He's got a couple games in with Calgary last season, but didn't get any points. It seems like he's been all right in preseason. I've seen his name pop up for goals. Actually, I think his last game, the 5-4 win against the Kings, he did pretty well. Where are his stats here? Oh no, I'm thinking of Pavel Regenda. Never mind. Okay, either way, he's been fine, but I think he's kind of the only guy that, to me, doesn't fit with the others. Like everyone else we've seen play in the NHL before, or we are pretty confident that they can take that next step in Mason McTavish and Pavel Regenda.
Yeah, I thought this was going to be a lot more spread out for some reason, of like, oh, there could be quite a few spots up, but like looking at this, it's like, oh, okay, yeah, that guy should be here, that guy should be here, that guy should be here. I'm looking at 3 guys in particular for opening night. And I think we've already kind of mentioned them. Godden, Grimaldi, and Regenda.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's it.
McTavish is going to be there. Comtois is going to be there too.
Yeah. If McTavish hasn't been sent back already, he is going to be on the NHL roster.
Exactly.
That's what that means.
Carrick is again on injured reserve. That's where you can maybe see a little bit of a flip-flop there, because last season with with Anaheim's 64 games played and only 19 points. So I have to kind of see about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's between those three for Godin, Grimaldi, and Regenda. So Regenda's left wing, Grimaldi's right wing, Godin's a center.
Make that your fourth line. There you go. Slap that in the oven and call her a day.
Or I was gonna say, or you're looking at two wingers against one centerman.
Okay.
Which Godin might be on. Well, because Zegras, McTavish is probably going to start on a wing.
Yeah, he's not going to start center.
So
He's going to be on Reinstrom's wing. That's it. That's the only option.
Yeah, so your center depth is going to go Zegras, Strome, Lundestrom.
Yeah.
Henrique's going to play on someone's wing as well.
Mm-hmm. And then Grant or Godin, one of the two, you're going to be your center. But I mean, you can put them on a line together because Grant's played wing.
Yeah,
Godin, I'm sure, can play wing.
Godin's got to show basically that he can play center better than Derek Grant.
Yeah.
And that can give him a spot.
Yeah, that's what it boils down to, basically.
So, like, otherwise, I feel like Godin might not be it. Otherwise, because you could have, because by Godin taking, like, showing that he could do better at center than Derek Grant, right? That pushes Grant to the wing, which pushes Grimaldi Grant was more on the left side last year, right? And he's a left-hand shot. That'd be pushing Regenda out. Who is a younger guy, mind you, right?
Yeah,
he's a 99 birthday. I mean, he's 23. So
yeah, but I mean, he's shown that he is fucking ready. Like he's played in most preseason games so far, and he has produced in all of them, and like in a positive way. He has been in a positive impact. So, and actually, there was a comment from Dallas Eakins that Eric Stevens tweeted about. Where is it here? Dallas Eakins said, this is from Eric Stevens on Twitter, said Pavel Regenda has had only one off game in camp. I'm assuming that was supposed to say. Eakins of whether Regenda is making it hard to leave him off roster. This is the quote. We still have a number of days to go on that. But when you're able to produce and your whole line produces and you're connected, it does make management and the coach's decision. Well, I guess that makes it easy sometimes too, and sometimes hard. So Pavel Regenda is basically saying, you can't cut me from this roster. I am here.
Yeah.
And it's very hard to argue with that.
I like that.
Yeah. That was posted yesterday by Eric Stevens, Tuesday as well. So, yeah. And then, I mean, looking at the rest of the roster, like that seems pretty much set there. Like Vetrano, Terry, Silfverberg as your top three right wings. And then your left, in no particular order. I was just going through the list.
Yeah.
And then left wings, you got Max Jones and Max Comtois and Henrique, I think is kind of, he's usually left side, I believe. And then, as we talked about, Derek Grant as well, potentially. So, yeah, there's kind of a spot, like you could make a spot on the fourth line for someone, and then just kind of that would dictate the rest of your roster, or like where guys are playing in the rest of your roster. But yeah, I mean, this is basically set. And then from there, it's just who matches up the best. And I think Strome and Terry and Zegras, Vetrano, Henrique, and then Strome, Terry, and well, actually, I don't know. Terry could go with Zegras. This is tough, actually. Yeah, you know what? We'll leave this one to Coach Eakins, I think, unless you have some magic there. But well, actually, I know Regenda with Terry has been solid. Although Regenda with Grant, yeah, man, I don't know. I feel like
Regenda with Terry works because how the NHL is almost kind of moving is you're almost doing pairs of forwards and then just finding a guy that could slot with them. Think of the Sedin twins, right? It was just whoever could play on that. I think it was the right side. It was just whoever could play with them, right? For a little while. I think it was Kessler for like it was a few different guys.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, honestly,
or even like Pittsburgh. Think back to, what was that, 2014, I think, and like Chris Kunitz, like
he
not a
was the
top line
no.
guy, but he got to go to the Olympics because, hey, you played really well with Sidney Crosby, right?
Yeah.
So like the NHL is kind of, and like that's a bit of an older, God, that those Olympics are 8 years ago now. Fuck me. Sorry, I was having an existential crisis on air, as well as tying my tongue. There you go. But yeah, the NHL is moving more, it feels like, to pairs of forwards and then finding that guy who can slot in with them.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you've seen a little bit more or read a little bit more to this though, but Regenda with Terry, you were saying?
Regenda with Terry, Strome with Terry, Zegras with Terry. Honestly, Terry has had a monster preseason as well. Like, I honestly don't know what the possibilities could be, because I think the top six just like meshes so well together that it kind of doesn't, it almost doesn't matter who you put together. Like, it could kind of change game to game, which I know isn't fantastic, but that's honestly, I think that's kind of my takeaway, is that like you can kind of,
Yeah,
you have some options anyways. And then, I mean, obviously preseason is different than in the NHL, but I think over the first few games, it'll be still kind of mixed up to see who does have that chemistry in an NHL game rather than a preseason game. So yeah, sorry, that doesn't give you much to go off of there.
Yeah. Because Regenda's on a PTO, is he not?
Yes, he is.
Oh, right, he's that Slovak guy
Yeah.
that they just kind of found. Okay,
Yeah,
so that's where it's a
nowhere.
little bit different. Yeah. Okay, why I was asking though, I would put this more as a second line. I don't know if I would trust this yet with first line minutes. But because you were talking Regenda and Terry, you know who else works really well in the middle with Terry? It's Trevor Zegras.
Yeah.
That's where you could have that, like, you're stepping away from the two now, and it's two pairs of two.
Yeah.
Right? Of Terry Regenda, Terry and Zegras.
I mean, especially as, sorry, I'm gonna come back, go somewhere else, and then come back. Yeah. But it's related, I promise. Especially in home games where you can get the last change and get the matchup you want. Generally, I think you want Adam Henrique as your number one centerman, because, and then whoever else. I don't give a shit who you put on the wings. It really doesn't matter to me. But if you can force that matchup, it gives Zegras, Terry, and Regenda, being a super young line, the quote easier, and it's not always the case, but generally the easier second pair minutes, and hopefully they'll be more productive there. Mm-hmm. Because also I think a lot of teams will say, okay, yeah, Adam Henrique as your first line guy, like, yeah, that's, I mean, that's kind of what I want my first line matched up against in a way, because like Zegras is fast and scary, and I don't necessarily want like to have my top guys out when Zegras is out just pulling Michigans, you know?
Yeah.
So I think it's also kind of the preferable matchup anyways. But yeah, no, I think as a second line, that's pretty solid. And then
I feel like your top line, unless Silfverberg is like continually not doing well, your top line is probably Strome, Henrique, Silfverberg.
Yeah.
Because those are your experienced guys there, right?
Yeah.
It's almost
I would also want Silfverberg to be with Lundestrom and Max Comtois on a third line, because I think that's a really good third line. And then Silfverberg as that like veteran calmness or presence there.
So who do you put on the right side then with
Vetrano? With Henrique.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Although to be fair, I also wouldn't mind Vetrano with Zegras and Terry up on that first line, just to get a little bit more
that balances out a little bit more, because I'm also kind of thinking like it's nice to have the run and gun young guys hockey kind of thing, but you do need a little bit of experience, I feel like, on a top line.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and leaving it right to like you could leave it to Zegras and Terry. The reason I put them down with Regenda though on a second line though is because that is a very young line, but
Yeah.
that could handle second line minutes and opposition.
To be fair, Troy Terry is 25, and I'm assuming you're the same way. I always think Troy Terry's like 21 years old. I just think he's so young, and I have no idea why. But he is 25, so he has been around for quite a while in the league.
So
and
yeah,
like,
okay.
You think of other 25-year-olds like Connor McDavid's 25, Austin Matthews is 24. Like,
Matthews is 25 as well. He just got drafted a year later.
Oh, right. Yeah. Yeah, Kachuk, we were talking about earlier off air, is 24. These guys have been around a while, and like Troy Terry's obviously not on the level of those guys. He was a 5th round pick in that 2015 draft, but he still has got quite a few games under his belt here, which I will.
Yeah, fair enough.
So I mean, he does have that veteran presence in a way, but. Yeah, I don't know if it's still like, oh, let's just throw you on a line with 2 guys who are rookies/sophomores, right? Yeah, 75 NHL games. That's very. Are we sure? Oh no, 204. 75 games last year. 204 career NHL games for Troy Terry. Yeah, so still young but experienced at the same time.
Yeah. Quick side question. For you just before we get into the chat with the defenseman, because there's just something I'm taking a look at here. Cap Friendly, where do you find waiver eligibility, if they are or not?
It's the little green arrow is waivers exempt. If it doesn't have that, then they need waivers. And then
that's good enough.
If you click on the guy, it'll be like right underneath summary where it has like buyout and arbitration and stuff like that.
Yeah, okay, got it. Yeah, we're all good now.
Yeah.
I was looking like in their profiles and I was like, why can't I find this? It's like waiver signing age or something like that. So
okay. Gotcha.
Okay, we're all good.
Yeah. Before we get into defense, just looking at the time, I know we don't normally like to split up our conversation with ads here, but I think let's do a quick break and then we'll talk about defense on the other side.
Okay, what do you want to do? You want to do DraftKings or do you want to do... We haven't done an internal promo actually in a while.
Let's do DraftKings and then we'll do an internal promo later.
Okay, sounds good. Just curious because like I said, I was scrambling today, so live ad read today, everybody.
Hey, let's see how it goes.
Oh.
You got it up or you need a minute?
Yeah, I got it up.
Okay.
Hockey fans, it's finally time to hit the ice again, and thanks to DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL, you're in for the season of a lifetime. New customers can bet just $5 on any team and get $200 in free bets if they win. Now, the script is telling me to discuss a matchup you like or that kind of thing. So obviously, we're going to be talking about the Ducks here. And I was able to look ahead actually at the Ducks versus the Kraken for the home opener next Wednesday. The Ducks have the favored odds -135, and this is for October 5th, which it can change, but for season openers, probably be fine. You're not going to see the Ducks be the favorite too often, right? So at a -135, if you bet $100, you'll win $74.04 on top of your $100 there. So yeah, if that wasn't enough excitement, you can turn small bets into bigger payouts with same game parlays. Combine multiple bets like which team will win, how many goals will be scored, and more for your shot at an even bigger payout. DraftKings is safe, secure, and reliable, and you can deposit and withdraw your cash whenever you want. So, what are you waiting for? Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now, use promo code THPN, bet $5 on any NHL team to win their game, and get $200 in free bets if they do. Again, that's promo code THPN, as in the Hockey Podcast Network, only at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details.
Nicely done.
Thank you.
The on the fly stuff was perfect as well. That was,
okay.
You click on it.
All right, there we go.
Okay. Well, we're.
I was gonna say, Oh, sorry. I was gonna say actually, just to add to that, if you wanted to put down a couple bucks for the Ducks to win the cup, I think I saw today Money Puck's projections were like 11% to make the playoffs.
Yeah, it's not bad. And then anything can happen after that.
Exactly. But the if you want to put down a couple bucks right now for the Ducks to win the cup, it's plus 15,000. So you put down $100, you will win $15,000.
It's not bad.
Gamble responsibly.
Yeah, I mean, if you got a spare $100 kicking around, which I don't, but if you do, like, I mean, you never know.
You never know.
Fuck, somebody probably bet money on the Blues, like back in 2019.
Somebody did in January when they were sitting at the time 30th, right? Because there's only 30 teams there. Somebody did do that, I remember, and they won like $100,000.
Oh, probably, yeah. Like, what did they bet? Like $5? Turn that into 100 because like all the odds were basically like, yeah, there's no way, and then they did.
Let me double check on that. Actually, first,
which obviously is the exception. Gamble responsibly. This is the exception.
Yes. But, this is when it like happens to go right for you on a long shot. Do not always take the long shot. You will very quickly lose your money.
This is probably the equivalent of seeing a shooting star, being struck by lightning, and winning the lottery on the same day.
Exactly. Here, let's take a look here. I just want to see like what the equivalent for like putting $5 down on the Ducks to win the cup here. Team futures. Oh, where'd it go here? Oh yeah, I gotta scroll. That's how far down the Ducks are.
pretty much the bottom. Yeah.
If you put $5 down, you will win $750.
Which,
that's not bad.
Return on investment is pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah. So
cool. Yeah. Before we get into the defensemen here that are still at training camp and which ones could make the roster here, I forgot to plug this at the top of the show, but at Quack Report Pod is all of our socials. I did mention that we live stream episodes, but if you're tuning in partway through because you saw the description and you were like, oh, I don't want to listen to them talk about Harry Potter and football for half an hour. We live stream episodes.
Oh my God, did I even update the description? I don't think I did.
I did some of it, but I don't know. We'll see. Okay. We'll find out. What was it? Oh, yes. We live stream episodes every Wednesday on our YouTube channel, The Quack Report. 7 p.m. Pacific time is where you can catch us there and interact with us via the chat and just have a good time. And also down in the description, we have a couple of links, one of them for our merch store. So if you're looking for some cheaper Ducks merch, as in cheaper than a jersey, then check out our merch store and rep the Quack Report at a Ducks game if you happen to be going, or a Gulls game, or any hockey game, or just out and about, whatever. We got some cool stuff. Nate is wearing the hat and a shirt right now, but we got tons of other stuff with our logo on it. So it's great there. And then the other one is for a feedback form. If you have any feedback for us going into season 4, I mean, season 4 has already started, but we're looking to change things up a little bit here. So if you have any suggestions, then that would be perfect. We welcome any and all feedback and criticism there. And I think that's everything that I have to mention. So
cool. Like I said, I have the idea for new merch, so keep an eye on the store as well. We'll let you know, obviously, when new merch is available. But you know what? This is the one time, and I don't think you're gonna get mad at me for it, Carter. I'm just not gonna tell you what I'm gonna put out.
Okay, sure.
So because there was some stuff that I was seeing with her supplier, and I'm like, oh, I could do this. So
cool. Sounds good.
Might have to have some fun with it. So
do it.
And you are, I think, gonna have to change our YouTube description after, because that's
fine.
Half changed.
Okay. Yeah. Whatever.
For like what we were talking about. So.
Okay. That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Defense now.
Yeah. So 12 defensemen still at training camp. I mean, a lot of them obviously aren't going to make the team. I think they're just trying to get as many games in for some of these guys as possible before sending them back. Noah Warren and Colton White of the are two of the guys, but well, I guess actually no, Colton White's he was with New Jersey as a free agent. We got him. Oh, interesting. I didn't know that. Okay. I mean, he played 27 games with New Jersey last year, 4 points. So like unlikely to play. He'll probably be an AHL guy there. And Noah Warren of the QMJHL, he's going to be sent back. So that's all good there. John Moore is injured, so potentially we'll see him, potentially not. We got him from Boston in what? That was the Lindholm trade. That's where we got John Moore from.
Yeah. I was gonna say I can just give you the 7 right here. I have it written down.
Okay, just give me a sec.
Okay.
I'm not trying to. I'm walking through it for everybody else. It's not for our benefit. Nathan Beaulieu, who we have on a PTO.
Everyone's just going, you talked about Harry Potter and football for half an hour. Give me my fucking Ducks defense.
Yeah. And then Simon, I guess, yeah, that's it. So then the guys that leaves us is Simone Benoit, Jamie Drysdale, Cam Fowler, John Klingberg, Dmitry Kulikov, Josh Mahura, Kevin Shattenkirk, and Urho Vakanainen, which leaves us with 8 there. So, Nate, who do you have as our, we'll say 6 defensemen?
I'm going to go 7th because I have a 7th.
Oh, okay, you do have a 7th.
Yeah,
okay,
I have a 7th.
Start with the 6, obviously.
That's why I was taking a look at cap friendly in that because I'm like, okay, how is this going to work? And yeah, I picked out my guys.
Okay.
So, okay, do you want me to just go?
Yeah, just go through the list. It doesn't matter.
Like first line, second, or do you want me to go 7th, 3rd, 2nd, 1st?
No, go top to bottom.
Okay, so your top line, Fowler, Drysdale, seems kind of obvious.
Yeah.
I maybe had to do a little bit more dive, but this made sense to me. I tried to keep a balance of left and right guys.
Okay.
So my second line, again, barring how he's doing in the next few days, Vakanainen, Klingberg.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I
can
see that.
Pair.
Yeah, Vakanainen does play both sides, so that's fine.
Yeah. And then Kulikov, Shattenkirk is your 3rd. With Kate, you can take a guess at who my 7th is.
So you have Kulikov, Shattenkirk as your 3rd pairing.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Fowler, Drysdale,
yeah.
Vakanainen, Klingberg, Kulikov, Shattenkirk.
Okay, so that leaves Benoit, Mahura, and Beaulieu and White. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So I mean.
Oh, and more. Oh, but he's injured.
He's injured. Yeah. So then I'd say your 7th guy would probably be either Mahura or Benoit. I'd probably go with Mahura.
Yeah, I got Mahura.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean Benoit. Like it depends. Like they both have the 7th, 8th deep potential. Mahura has a little more experience on both sides, so that's probably
that's why I got him as my 7th. Yeah, he can play both sides. So
yeah, I would be.
So who knows? Kulikov might have to slot up to that second line. Again, I don't really know a whole lot with Vakanainen right now. So Kulikov probably slots up there with Klingberg and then Mahura with Shattenkirk there. I feel like you're not throwing Klingberg on the 3rd line, given that he's technically, well, I mean, he is the highest paid defenseman on this team now.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't even think of that.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, like
$7 million. So half a million more than Cam Fowler, but
yeah, I mean, you bring Klingberg on for his power play.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Like even if you do have him on the 3rd pairing, like
he's got pedigree. He's just a guy that waited too long, right? Like,
yeah.
Or it's kind of a mix of him and his past agent because he fired his agent because nothing was getting done. And then his new agent, I don't remember who it is offhand. Does it say here by chance who it might be? But anyway, his new agent then, like, I think within like a week or 2, got this deal with Anaheim at least, right? Which is a 1-year thing. And it can go a couple ways too, right? If Klingberg and Anaheim have a good relationship, right? You can extend them, I think, starting in January.
I think so.
To a longer contract if you want then. If things aren't looking good, it's kind of a first part of the season rental. You can trade them at the trade deadline, get some assets for it, and all you did was spend a few bucks actually, right? So that kind of worked. Like you didn't trade anything to get
Klingberg.
Klingberg, yeah. So and I'll put here as well, just because I'm seeing this. There is a modified no trade on Klingberg.
Okay, because he wants to go to a contender. So.
From season start until January 1st is no trade. But then on January 1st, turns into a 10-team no trade.
Oh, okay.
So 10 teams he can say not to go to. So
yeah, no, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only thing I would question about your defensive pairings, and it's more just because I haven't really seen a lot of the preseason, but I could see Kulikov being more of the seventh D, and then getting Mahura and Benoit into more games, because it doesn't do them any good to be sitting just doing nothing. Whereas Kulikov's 31. So and like
You could
it's still good to have him around the team
Yeah.
and like to have him rotate in every once in a while for sure. But I think he's definitely more there as like a locker room guy at this point. And if the team does make the playoffs, he's going to be the guy to step in the playoffs and like, or push for the playoffs. Like I don't see him at least being on the opening night roster.
Kulikov is on the second year now of a 2-year deal, $2.25 million. But remember, we got him for nothing because Minnesota is cash strapped, right?
Yeah.
The Suter and Parise buyouts really hit this season, which oh my god, we still have predictions to get through.
Yeah, I know. So we're
strap in for a long episode, everybody.
Yeah.
But yeah, just to kind of dive a little early into that. Their projected cap space currently is 300,000, just north of.
Mm-hmm.
Is there space right now? They still got guys that they got to figure out here, send down, and that sort of thing. But yeah, dead cap $12.74 million.
Yeah,
out of 82.
A lot. Yeah.
So like their actual cap is just about 69.5. Nice.
Yeah. So I mean, whatever happens with Kulikov, it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
like
I don't think it's that he's a bad player for them.
No,
it's just
he's
okay.
not.
This is money that you can easily move.
No, Kulikov is a fantastic defensive defenseman. Yeah. He's phenomenal.
Which I think
I don't want to say he's the best, but he's one of my favorites for a defensive defenseman.
Yeah, so. Which I think will be good to pair personally with a guy like you could put him with Klingberg. It was more just like okay, Vakanainen, I feel like could do the second line thing, but maybe it is just a swap of those two, right? But
yeah, I mean,
because Kulikov not Kulikov, Klingberg and shootout specialist for some reason last year, apparently, according to Dallas Eakins, Shattenkirk are a bit more of your kind of offensive guys. Not like it, like not. Klingberg is definitely your offensive defenseman, but Shattenkirk's just a little on a spectrum. He's just a little bit more.
He's developed recently. He's developed more into a more defensively responsible defenseman.
There you go.
Just due to age. So yeah, he's adapted his play style there for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, yeah. So I think that's kind of what our opening night roster, I guess, will look like. I mean, the forwards we already talked about, and it's basically everybody that we listed there. And
that I'm not even going to try, like, besides, like, oh, okay, here's what I would maybe want to see, right? Of, say, like a Terry Zegras and, who are you saying, Vetrano?
Yeah.
I think. Yeah, we could we could try our best to give you an opening night lineup for forwards, and Dallas Eakins is going to go, no, that's what the blender in the corner's for. Yeah,
exactly. So
he doesn't give a shit about your projections.
No, but it's we at least have the guys down, and I think that's what people are curious about. So okay. Enough about that. Let's get into some division standings predictions. We're really going to push through these, but we'll obviously spend a little more time on the Pacific Division because that's where the Ducks are, and then out east we'll just kind of list them and talk about the outliers, I think. So Atlantic Division is where we're going to start, and just looking at our two here. Okay. Let's do top 4 for the Atlantic. Let's start there, and then we'll continue on. So I have Lightning, the Maple Leafs, the Panthers, and the Senators going 1 to 4. And Nate has Lightning, Maple Leafs, Senators, Panthers. So we've swapped our 3rd and 4th.
Yeah.
Lightning, Toronto at 1 and 2, I think is pretty obvious.
Feels pretty obvious. Now, I know you kind of had like a, oh, really reaction to my Senators being in 3rd.
Yeah, because you're
They've definitely
guaranteeing them a playoff spot at this point.
they've improved. My thing is that the other two teams in particular, Florida and the not mentioned for me fifth spot Bruins,
Mhm.
they've, whether by choice or not, gotten a little bit worse.
Mhm.
In the Bruins case, at least to start the season because of injuries, right?
Yeah.
The Bruins are going to be missing out on Brad Marchand. I'm just pulling up the thing because it's a fucking list, people.
It's a list of some big names. Yeah.
You're going to be missing Brad Marchand until about American Thanksgiving, end of November ish, right? Which that's 20, 25 games that you're missing. Charlie McAvoy, same thing, end of November, beginning of December. Matt Grzelcyk is out till the beginning of November there. Taylor Hall will be out for is week to week at least right now. So
Mhm.
that's going to just dampen the start, I think, for the Bruins. And that's hitting them in both of their major, like two of the three major areas, obviously, right? That's hitting in both forwards and in their defense because that's your,
and it's some of their top guys too. Like,
McAvoy is your top defenseman, I think. No offense to Hampus Lindholm, but like McAvoy, come on.
yeah.
Marchand, obviously one of your top guys still. Taylor Hall is definitely like not a top guy, but he's like your solid middle six at this point, for sure. And then for some reason I'm not really remembering anything about Grzelcyk offhand. I don't know why, but another defenseman though, right? So like that's two of your top six guys.
Yeah.
Out for defense. So that definitely
Yeah, no, it makes sense. Yeah.
So, and then for Florida, and I'm taking a look at a daily face-off. I know it's not 100% accurate because it's preseason and whatnot, but just kind of like using it as a guideline because most teams are at their pretty close point at this point. Really quickly, Kevin's saying, "Hi guys, on my lunch break, just wanted to pop in and hope y'all are doing well. We hope you're doing well as well, Kevin.
Hope
it's been a while, buddy.
Not too bad. Yeah, glad you could pop in."
Florida. Now, don't get me wrong, Florida still has a good team, but I do think they got a little bit worse. I know we were talking about this a little bit off air, but yes, you replaced 115-point Jonathan Huberdeau left winger with 107-point Matthew Tkachuk in that trade. And signed him to a nice 8-year deal. Good for Florida. Go for Bill Zito on doing that. I don't really listen to Spit and Chicklets too much anymore, but apparently Keith Yandel said that when Huberdeau got the call from Zito that he had been traded, he said, "Fuck you," and hung up the phone on Zito. I think the hit, everyone's looking at Jonathan Huberdeau in that trade between Calgary and Florida. I'm looking at Mackenzie Weegar personally because like Ekblad with Weegar was fantastic, right? Weegar's a fantastic transitional defenseman, especially, and offensive, but holds his own obviously in the defensive end too, right? Like he was arguably the top guy. No offense to Aaron Ekblad, but from what I can recall, at least the top guy on the President's Trophy winning team, right? So that's a major hit. I think that's not coming back because it wasn't an injury or anything like that. So like they still got a decent top six, right? Daily Faceoff right now has a projected Barkov centering Verhaeghe and Reinhart for top line, and then Sam Bennett with Tkachuk and Colin White. Oh, hey, Calgary Rejects on Florida. There you go. But then it kind of drops off from there. Lundell's a solid third line center with Balsers. And you want to take a stab at saying that name?
I don't know if I have them pulled up. Oh, no, I do.
Lustarinen, I think. E2 Lustarinen.
Lusterinen, I think.
Okay.
I feel like I've heard that before. It's like Lusteranian or something.
And then fourth line projected Nick Cousins, Patrick Hornquist, and Ryan Lomberg. It's just like not horrible for a fourth line either.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's pretty good.
But it just doesn't. I don't know. Compared to Ottawa, there just feels, at least in the top 6, there feels top 6 for forwards. There feels to be a little bit more with Ottawa for me. Projected, and this feels like is probably how it would go. Josh Norris centering Brady Tkachuk and Drake Batherson. Second line, Tim Stützle with Alex DeBrincat, which I believe they're close to an extension, is what was being reported today.
Yeah.
And Claude Giroux, which you want, again, that should have been the episode title, Hometown Kid. Even though Giroux's not a kid anymore. But then you still got like some guys that are coming into their own a bit more, with Shane Pinto, who's a very highly regarded kid in San Jose's, or oh my God, San Jose, the Senators system here. And Matthew Joseph, Alex Formanton, and then fourth line Gambrell with Tyler Mott and Austin Watson. The defense kind of falls off a little bit, but it feels a little bit more balanced at the same time compared to Florida's for me. Thomas Chabot, Travis Hamonic, which I'm still confused over the Hamonic move, but then again, that was also before I think that was before Melnick passed away and Pierre Maguire got canned. So I'm just going to blame it on Pierre Maguire, not even Eugene Melnick. I'm blaming that on Pierre Maguire. Eric Brandstrom with Artem Zub, and then Jake Sanderson with Nikita Zaitsev. Now, they do have a little bit of a hit to their goaltending with no Cam Talbot for the next, I think, 7 weeks, if I remember correctly. At least the first month of the
5
season.
to 7.
Yeah. So that's a hit for them. But you still got Anton Forsberg there, which that definitely works. Magnus Hellberg, Matt Sogard, I know, is also in the system and is still a pretty damn good goalie from what I can recall, at least from last season as well, right? So like Ottawa still has some options in net, at least until Talbot comes back. That I wouldn't be too worried about.
Yeah, for sure.
That's why I have Ottawa above Florida in that case. Boston, I have them in their spots just because of like that start of the season until December is going to suck. And I kind of wonder, like, unless everybody can pull up their pants, that's going to be hard to crawl out of, I think.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
I'm sorry, I took up a lot of airtime going through that, but I was like, I feel like I need to justify why the Senators are in third after.
No, you absolutely need to. Yeah, the issue I have with that and why I have the Panthers above the Senators still is because, and you kind of mentioned it as well, like the Florida Panthers won the President's Trophy last year. Like, not only were they the best team in the Atlantic, they were the best team in the whole league in the regular season. And I think, well, first, before I got to justify Mackenzie Weegar here. I think Mackenzie Weegar is a great defenseman. I have nothing against him, and I hope to God Calgary doesn't extend him because I do not want him in the Pacific Division for the next 7-8 years, however long he signs for. I do, like, that scares me because he's a really good defenseman. But I don't think that losing Mackenzie Weegar takes this team from being a President's Trophy winner to 4th in the Atlantic, which realistically is probably like 10th.
Oh,
like,
I'm sorry, everybody. I'm gonna put the pen down.
Yeah, I don't think it takes the Panthers to being like outside of a top 10 team in the league just on that, because to me, Tkachuk and Huberdeau are essentially a wash. It's not perfect, but essentially. So I find it hard to say that the Senators, yes, they added a lot of pieces, but I don't think it's enough to be better than last year's President's Trophy team that is largely the same. And yes, their defense is suspect in Florida, but they still have Bobrovsky and Knight, who are on another level. So that's why I have them above Florida. I do think you're right. The Senators have a lot going for them still, but
Bobrovsky, I think it depends on the year for what level you're talking about. It's either the penthouse suite or 5 levels basement parking lot.
Yeah, but then you still have Spencer Knight. then you still have Spencer Knight, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, which
And the Panthers are still a really good team.
Yeah, which he could definitely use some more reps as well. But like I don't even remember what show I was listening to that they were kind of talking about. I think it was 32 Thoughts. They were kind of talking about like how people thought it was kind of weird with like the Bobrovsky signing for as long as it was right when you had just drafted Spencer Knight.
Yeah.
And like knew that he was probably going to be ready sooner rather than later. But at this point, $14.5 million, I think, or 15.5, something like that, in your goaltending.
Just in goaltending. So, yeah, it's
which as a goalie makes me happy, but like
yeah, get them goalies paid, but like Jesus, that's
exactly. That's a lot. So
yeah.
So yeah, it's I don't think it's the goaltending that's gonna take them down. It's just for me, and this isn't me being a salty Calgary perspective.
Spencer Knight's deal doesn't kick until next year, so it's still only 10.925. But yes, 14.5 next. Sorry about being a salty or not being a salty Flames fan.
I don't see Matthew Tkachuk putting up those numbers this year, at least. It's not to say that he won't ever have another career year, right? I don't see him putting up those numbers this year or in the next couple, just because, again, you're about to kick in Spencer Knight at $4.5 million, right? Like this scene, like it feels like the Panthers window to me, and I got to take a look at their contracts again, but it feels like it's closed, like the window's closing really quickly on them.
Yeah, like it just opened and now it's closed.
And it's closing already. So just with cap reasons, like unless they can work some magic kind of thing, I mean, right? So
cap is going to go up a little bit in the next couple of years.
Yeah, so like that'll definitely help. But I don't know. That's the only reason right now is like if you're looking at just straight up Huberdeau for Tkachuk. And again, I'm trying to remove my bias. I'm thinking, okay, who are these players? Who are they going to be playing with specifically, right? I feel like Huberdeau is going to be still the better of the two. And that's not to say that Tkachuk won't be good, but he won't be the 100+ points that he did last year, I don't think.
Yeah.
So I would love for him to prove me wrong, especially because he's on the other side of the freaking continent at this point. So
yeah.
I'd be okay with him proving me wrong. I was upset when he left Calgary, but I also understood and respected it that for him and especially his family, that's more of a business decision, right? So no, I got no ill will against Tkachuk. I wanted him to be the Flames next captain. So
you'd already talked about Boston, and I really have nothing to add to that, but I had Boston at 6th in my division. I put the Red Wings before them.
I didn't even see that. Oh shit.
I just think that the Red Wings were already good last year. Like they were very close to I had last year's standings up. Oh no, Detroit was 6th. Buffalo finished ahead of Detroit by a point. Interesting. I didn't know that.
Buffalo ended the season just went for a tear.
Anyways, I thought Detroit took a lot of good steps. A lot of the players had some good steps that year. They added Ville Husso to their goaltending tandem with Nedeljkovic there, which I think is an awesome move. You'll actually be able to use Tyler Bertuzzi this season, so that's a plus for them. Sorry, I'm just pulling up the rest of their roster. They got Andrew Kopp. That was the other addition. I really like that as the second line center. Dominic Kubalik. Like they just added some more depth that I think fleshes out their roster. David Perron. That was the other one I was trying to think of. Yeah. So they added some really good pieces up front. Defense is kind of the same, but Mo Seider's going to have another good year, I think. And just a lot of good things going on in Detroit. And I just think that the Bruins injuries are going to hit them a lot harder than it even looks like on paper, and it's going to be really hard to recover from that. So, so a little bit of a hot take putting the Red Wings up there maybe, but I just wanted to highlight that I think they're going to have a good year. So, bottom 3 for each of us. I had Bruins, as we talked about, and then Sabres, Canadiens. You had Sabres, Red Wings, and Canadiens. Nothing needs to be said about Montreal. They're dog shit. Why did you have the Sabres higher than the Red Wings? I'm curious on that.
Sabres I had higher than the Red Wings just because, like, yes, the Red Wings made some more moves in the right direction, but Stevie Y likes to play the long game, right? So I just don't see it. I don't see that jump being right now, at least.
Well, you still have them moving down a spot compared to last year. Technically.
just because Ottawa goes up.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Fair enough.
So,
Fair. Yeah.
Because I believe Ottawa finished worse than Detroit.
Yeah, that's true. They were
year.
7th. Yeah.
So that's why.
Yeah.
Buffalo's another team that's like that youth injection a little bit there that could be really interesting to watch and might take some teams by surprise, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Just looking at the top 6, Tage Thompson, Victor Olofsson, and Jeff Skinner, who is making that contract better value. It's not great value still, but it's better value at least.
Yeah,
it's at least
not
somewhat justifiable.
Yeah.
And then Casey Middlestad, Alex Tuck, and Jack Quinn. That sounds like a pretty good second line to me.
Mm-hmm.
Peyton Krebs and Dylan Cousins on that third line, right? Like you got Dylan Cousins right now in a third line role, but he probably I feel like he could play a little bit higher, right? So that's not a bad thing, right? Like that's showing that you have some depth there. And then Vinny Hinostroza, Zemgus Girgensons, and Rasmus Asplund on the fourth line. It's a fourth line, right?
Yeah. We had talked off air kind of about the goaltending being suspect, I guess. Or not like suspect, but like just we're not really sure because right now they have Craig Anderson and Eric Comrie on daily face-off, but then there's Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen on as kind of the third guy, but he seems to be taking another step, so potentially he could take a spot from Eric Comrie or from Anderson, depending on injuries.
I feel like Luukkonen would take it over Comrie, and you could have the tandem of you could definitely, I think, run the tandem. I put Luukkonen above Comrie here.
I would too.
I think this is because this is because of preseason, like what we're looking at daily faceoff here. Tandem of Anderson and Luukkonen, right?
That's
because
not bad.
Anderson
can stay healthy.
Yeah, like doesn't matter his age. Like he's still been playing fantastic, right? He just has to stay healthy. So like last year, at the start of the year, Anderson was just didn't matter who you were, who had the puck, he was stopping you, right? He was doing fantastic, and Buffalo like started really good. Anderson gets hurt. Oh, okay, now we're gonna bring it back here. So as long as he can stay healthy, and again, tandems are kind of the way of the future, it seems, right? So Anderson with Luukkonen, I think that could really work in their favor, actually.
Yeah, me having Buffalo at 7th bothers me because I think they're a better team than that. But I just can't justify putting them above any of the other 6 teams I have above them, right? So like, I mean, maybe Boston, but like, is Boston really going to be that bad because of their injuries? Like, I really don't think so. I think the Red Wings and Senators are going to be better, and then obviously you're not putting the Sabres above the big 3 in my big 3 in Tampa, Florida, and Toronto. So that's the only reason I have the Sabres at 7th. I think they're going to be so good compared to last year, and like, please, like I hope that they prove me wrong and go higher than Boston, but like I just physically can't do that because I know I would be laughed at.
Yeah. Okay, that's fair. Yeah, Boston for me, like Boston was that kind of odd pick. Like, okay, let's figure out where they might be, because
and then you filled in the rest.
Yeah, kind of, because Boston is going to be that guy who worked late, right, and is still coming to the party. But everybody's 5-6 deep at that point, and he's playing catch up.
Yeah.
Right. So.
Yeah, that's
which
true.
He may catch up in the night. He may surpass you even. In that case, keep an eye on that dude. Or he may not even get to that level, to the level that you're at that night, right? So it might be the latter, just because he doesn't have nearly as much time to do it. So
you know what?
Unless you're feeding him Everclear, like.
Last year, we both had the Islanders at the top of the Metropolitan Division.
Yeah, what a fucking shit show that was. That's why the title of this episode's probably wrong. Yeah,
and they were a better team than that. Like, honestly, that's the truth. But that road trip at the start of the season just fucked them, and they never got into it after that. They were set back from the start and never got back into that. So for that reason, and like, I mean, like, they were still fine. Like, they finished 5th in the division, which you just look at that, like, out of context is fine. But when you're projected to be one of the top teams in the division and you don't even make the playoffs, that sucks. So for that reason, I am
for that reason
old, the Command X on the Sabres there, deleting the Bruins, putting the Sabres in there and the Bruins. I'm putting the Sabres above the Bruins. I don't think they get into it. I'm putting the
Okay.
Bruins at 7th,
All right. I like this.
which is a hot ass take, but we're
It's a hot take.
doing an audible there and moving those around. Okay.
Sounds good. I'm looking ahead to the Metro, and I'm loving that we literally just have like teams flip flopped.
Yeah, no, it's easy. This one was the easiest for me. I looked at it and I was like, yep, this one. Yep. Boom, that's it. Canes and Rangers, I have them 1 and 2. You have them 2 and 1. Rangers above the Canes. I mean, it could go either way, honestly. I have a soft spot. Well, no, I have a soft spot for both of these teams, but the Canes have been my Stanley Cup pick for a long time. Like ever since Tampa Bay won the cup, I've just been going Canes. So that's why I always just keep putting them top of the division. That's
Fair enough.
Yeah. But I mean, I think it's going to be like, for example, Canes 120 points, Rangers 119. Like it's going to be that 1 point difference. It's going to come down to the last game of the season.
Now, what if the Rangers get some Kane? Because I know I was seeing a little bit of something that the Rangers might be a place for Patrick Kane.
If it happens before long before the trade deadline, then I think they're number 1. But if it happens at the trade deadline, then by then it's probably.
I don't know, just to have the Vezina winning goalie not be first in the league with the guys that are playing in front of him.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's why I have to have the Rangers first.
Yeah.
Rangers are my pick actually this year. And I do have a soft spot for the Rangers. So
yeah. We have I have the Capitals at 3, you have them at 4, and then we have the Penguins at 3 for you and 4 for me. So
until I actually see it happen, that's not in a pandemic way that I was right on a technicality. I feel like I'm just going to put the Penguins at 3 until they're finally knocked out.
Yeah.
I think
that's fair.
It's honestly more safe. The Penguins are like a fucking Hydra of like cut off one head, 2 more tickets place kind of thing. They just won't fucking die.
Yeah, exactly. And that's a very good metaphor.
I'm sure our friend Kaylee will love to hear me say that, and it's probably laughing her ass off right now. But it's true, right? This team will not go away. It doesn't matter what you try to do. It doesn't matter that Sidney Crosby and Evgeny Malkin are out to start the season, are out to start the season last year, right? Like Malkin will come back and be like, "Yo, 3 points, here you go.
Yeah,
we're back, baby."
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. The Hydra metaphor is actually so accurate because like anytime Crosby gets injured for a while, Malkin just goes like God mode.
Yeah, Malkin's just like, "Oh, okay, sure. I'll show you what would happen if I first line the other team."
Yeah, exactly. And then like same thing, like when in the playoffs when Fleury was like way back when they won their cups, not like 5 years ago, when Fleury was like starting to drop off like near the end of the season and in the playoffs, Matt Murray's like, "I got this. I'm going God mode." And it's like, where did this guy come from? It's like literally the definition of you cut off one head and 2 pop up. So
that's 6 and 7 years ago now. No, sorry. I think it's almost 7 and 8.
Oh, you're right.
God, that makes me feel old.
Yeah, I mean, the only reason I gave the edge to the Capitals was because of the Darcy Kemper acquisition. Like they had basically no goaltending last year and they did fine. And then they have basically the same team and they add Kemper and now so that's why I give them that boost over the Penguins there.
See, and if we're looking at pure goaltending, I'll take Jari over Kemper. I know Kemper just won a Stanley Cup, but I'll take Jari.
I'm writing this down just not because I'm going to make a clip of it because I don't want you to get absolutely toasted on Twitter, but because I want to come back to this at the end of the season just so I can play you the clip. Like I would take Jari over Kemper.
All right. Because I'll even pull up their stats from last year just for comparison.
Yeah, no, and
of course there's always
the dumbest thing I've ever heard come from your mouth.
Okay, that's reaching. I've said a lot of stupid shit in my lifetime.
Yeah, I know. And I think that's the dumbest thing you've ever said is Jari over Kemper. I'm sorry, but no.
Okay, let's take a look here.
Find me one fantasy draft where Jari is drafted over Darcy Kemper.
I think in both of mine he was actually.
Who are you playing with? Are you playing with like a bunch of monkeys that are throwing darts at a board?
One of them is you.
Yeah, and I don't think that I don't think that was the case. I will look it up while you pull up their stats because I would find that very, very hard to believe. But I mean, I don't know.
Where are? No, I totally went past. Hold on a second.
Okay. Draft results. Here we go. Oh.
Okay.
Oh
okay,
wait.
so
No, we haven't. Are you talking about last year's league?
no, I'm talking about the other one that we just did.
Which other one? Oh, that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have too many fantasy leagues, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna have like 3 or 4 this year.
Yeah. There we go.
Okay, so Darcy Kemper last year, again, you also have to put into context the team that they have in front of them, right?
Mhm.
Kemper's not behind the Stanley Cup winning Colorado Avalanche.
No, he's behind
Washington's
the former
good.
Stanley Cup winning Capitals.
From like 5 years ago at this point. 6 years ago. But yes, so like that's what I'm taking into consideration a bit.
Yeah.
Is he's also it's kind of the Murray thing when he went from Pittsburgh to Ottawa, right?
Yeah.
Like I even said to you, I'm like, it's not that he's a bad goalie. He's just not as good as people think he is, and it'll show on a different team that doesn't have what they're doing in front of him from the last, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Colorado's not like Washington is not going to be the same team whatsoever as Colorado was last year. So Kemper's numbers last year was a 21 goal save above expected compared to Jari's 12.8. Now, Darcy Kemper is now in that Eastern Conference that is very high scoring, very fast, right?
Yeah.
I'm okay to be proven wrong on that. Just from what I've seen, and again, I saw a bit more of Darcy in the Western Conference.
And Tristan Jarry was round 9, pick 8. So not too far off.
Yeah, like less than 10 away.
No.
No. Snake draft,
14
right?
picks.
Yeah.
14 picks. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, it's
somebody maybe got Jarry for a steal then there.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. But okay. Our next pair of teams that flip-flopped are the Devils and the Islanders, where I have the Devils at 5, Islanders at 6, and you have Islanders above the Devils there. I mean, I just am on the Devils train, and they're kind of like Buffalo for me as well, where like I kind of just feel bad for him in a way. I'm like, you know what? Let's throw you guys a shot at the playoffs.
They had to rebuild a rebuild.
Yeah, but I don't know. I just like some of their offseason moves. Andre Palat being one of them. Some of their early draft picks over the last few years are really coming in, and Hughes, Hischier, Jesper Bratt, Sharon Govich. Some of their depth guys like Michael McLeod, Dougie Hamilton, Ryan Graves. I like that acquisition. Who are their goalies again? I feel like I like their goalies.
I'm just double checking. It's Blackwood, and it's showing somebody
Vitek
else.
Vanacek.
Yeah, I don't remember if he's going to be like the other guy though.
Yeah,
but I'm double checking right now.
That's a good call. So, but yeah, I don't know. I think A, it's time for them to take the next step, and B, the off-season acquisitions that they did make, I think, are phenomenal, especially Palat.
Yeah, sorry. You know who's probably going to be over Vanacek, I feel like, is Jonathan Bernier.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's true.
Just for that veteran presence behind kind of thing.
Behind Blackwood, yeah.
Yeah, not to say that you couldn't put Vanacek in there, but
yeah.
If I remember correctly, that's kind of the whole plan for them.
Yeah. With the Islanders, I mean, maybe you want to justify the Islanders here just because you had them a little higher, but
the Islanders is just going to be because they're going to be a better team than what we saw last year, I think.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But just with how the teams ahead of them and even behind them are kind of structured, it's going to keep them out.
Yeah.
I think the Devils aren't it's not even that they're not as deep. I still look at the Islanders and it's still Lou Lamoriello and
Barry Trotz.
Barry Trotz. Thank you. Barry Trotz especially, right, can put a knack in any Metro or Atlantic team's plans. Mm-hmm. Because again, that's a more of a little bit higher scoring conference, and that's a very defensive minded team, right?
Yeah.
That'll wear you down basically.
Mm-hmm.
So I just feel like the 4 teams ahead, Rangers, Hurricanes, Penguins, Capitals, are just going to do a little bit better overall. That'll keep the Islanders out, but they'll still be. They're not going to be as bad as last year because they're not dealing with 14 straight games on the road to start the season, plus dealing with their team going down with COVID. So
Yeah, exactly.
they had a lot of curveballs thrown at them last year, and even for like the COVID thing, like they should have been shut down. They shouldn't have had to play through that. That's crap.
Yeah,
So,
that's really unfortunate for them. But
yeah,
So I mean, I agree. I think they're going to be better than they were last season. But like, it's just not like, even though they will improve, just like if you took the exact same team they had last year and put them in this season, it's going to be better, obviously. But actually,
that's literally what you're doing. That's what you're doing.
No, yeah, exactly. But that's kind of my point. Like, yes, you've improved, or you will improve just by doing nothing because you had such a shitty year last year. But still, every other team around you in the division took those steps to improve in some other way, and they just did nothing. So like, no, you're obviously not going to be better than the Canes or the Rangers or the Capitals or the Penguins, because these teams did make those acquisitions that put them over the edge. And then when it comes to the Devils, yes, they were technically below you, I believe. I don't want to double check that. Yes. Oh yeah, because Islanders were 5th. Yeah, so I guess I technically have them lower in the standings, but I just think that the Devils did more to improve than what the Islanders would get by just doing nothing, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Because they've still always, just for the last couple of years, they've been that team that's just like, yeah, we're here, we exist, we make the playoffs, and we're good, but like, we're just not quite there yet. And they just don't make those changes.
They seem like a team similar to Tampa has been for the last while. Well, I mean, makes sense considering they played back-to-back Eastern Conference Finals.
Mm-hmm.
But it was just once they made the playoffs, that's when they worked, kind of thing. But you have 82 games to get there.
Yeah.
So it's not that they can't. It's just I think other teams are going to have an easier time getting to that point.
Yeah. No, I think so.
You still have to get there.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's like Islanders at 6 again is like a slap in the face.
Yeah.
But like,
sorry, Islanders fans.
But this kind of transitions us into the next topic of conversation here. I think that still means Islanders are like top, or like not top, sorry, but like the first team outside of the wild card, because I have the Penguins and the Devils both from the Metro taking the 2 wild card spots over, say, the Senators or the Red Wings, and the Islanders in this case.
I have no idea. With the wild card throws things off for me. So I know you said for me to give like who's making the playoffs.
Yeah,
I'm not even going to try with the wild card. Take my top 3. Those teams are making it, and then after there, it's called wild card for a reason, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah, no, that's fair. So
not to disappoint you, but
yeah, no, it's okay. Okay, and then lastly, we have the Blue Jackets and the Flyers at 7 and 8. Those ones are the same. I think the Flyers, again, it's like they're the Canadians. They're not going to do anything special. That's how they are.
They're
the
not
Blue
trying
Jackets
to do anything special right now. They're trying to figure out what the fuck is going on in their room and who they need to get out of there first before they build again.
Yeah, and then the Blue Jackets, like, yeah, they added Johnny Gaudreau, but like, you still don't. I don't know. I don't see them having the support around him to even be a team worth watching, you know, like at this point.
Yeah, Columbus will be soon, I feel like. But
yeah,
like the top line of, and like this has been projected like basically since they acquired Gaudreau, Jenner with Laine and Gaudreau. Laine and Gaudreau is going to be fun to watch.
That's going to be good. But then
it's going to be fun.
After that, I'm like, I don't give a shit.
Roslovic, Voracek, Nyquist. Okay, sure.
That's a third line at best on any other team. Like,
Sillinger will be fun to watch.
Yeah.
Sillinger is always fun to watch. And then Marchenko, Johnson, okay. And then Corrali, Olivier, and Robinson, sure.
Yeah. Like, they're not a bad team by any means, but like, when you look at the 6 teams that we have ahead of them, like
Yeah.
you can't say that they're gonna get that many wins from those guys. Like when you're in a division with the Canes and the Rangers and like how bonkers those teams are,
Yeah.
if you're icing a team like the Blue Jackets, you can have a bad fucking time.
This team will go as far as that top line of Jenner Gaudreau, Line, and as far as Mertz Lincoln's, we'll take them because
because that's it.
I'm looking at the defense here.
Very suspect.
That's not gonna do much.
No.
Werenski, sure, that's your obvious number one guy. And then you got Peak,
I mean,
Gavrikov, Boquist, Bean, and free agent acquisition as well. Eric Branson, who, okay, again, projected, but I think $4.5 million for 2 years is what he signed to be the third line guy. I mean, he plays his role well. Don't get me wrong, right? And that's a guy that I also saw a lot of in Calgary last year. Was not a fan of him at first, but once he figured out the system, right, he was fantastic. Like Calgary, I can't remember the name of the guy, the prospect right now, but like Calgary gave him footage of Gabranson. They're like, this is the guy that we want you to be, that we can see you being, right, with like similar stature and everything like that, and like their play styles are similar. So like, Eric Branson's not a bad player by any means. Last year was a fantastic year for him compared to previous ones. So, but if you're paying $4.5 million for your 5th or 6th guy, it's not yet for Columbus. It'll come though.
Yeah. Okay, moving to the Central.
And just fuck the Philadelphia Flyers. They're my team I hate this year.
Yeah. The Avalanche at the top of the Central.
Why would you
do anything else?
Shit of the season.
Right? Yeah. Just to get these ones out of the way as well, we both have Jets at 6, Coyotes at 7, and Blackhawks at 8.
I didn't even realize that. I love that.
Yeah. It's again like, who's going to argue that?
Richie, if you're still here, we don't think the Coyotes are going to be last.
Yeah, no, I think there's a lot to be happy about. They've got good goaltending. They've got a lot of young guys in their top 6, but I think they're
better
good.
Goaltending, I'll say.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. Their defense, I think, is fine. Like they could potentially get a massive package for Jacob Chikrin that would like potentially even put them in 6th in the division.
Yeah,
because Chikrin's good, obviously, and like I would love for him to come to Anaheim or Edmonton or whatever. But like if you can get 2 roster players for 1, like you're automatically better, obviously.
The Chikrin talk of like him wanting to leave Arizona has been around for so long that there's about to be like a Pepperidge Farms meme made about when he wanted to still be in Arizona.
Yeah. Jacob Chikrin is like Matt Duchene from 8 years ago, where it's like, oh, Matt Duchene's on the trade block. Oh, he's the guy to look out for, and then nothing happens.
At least Duchene got moved like by the quarter mark of the season.
Yeah.
Chikrin's been like a season plus at this point.
No, so was Duchene. Do you not remember that? He was like top of the trade bait board for like 2 years before he finally got moved.
I think it was sorry. I guess I'm thinking more of like when he asked to go.
Oh yeah, it was when he asked.
Bad season, and then it was the off season that he asked, I think, and then about a quarter of the way through, it was that 3-way deal with Nashville and Ottawa.
Yeah. That's true from when he asked, but okay, yeah.
Which there's a Steve Dangle like on the Sportsnet channel for like the trade trees, and I think we watch the Matt Duchene one together, or did I watch that one on my own?
No, we watched the Solane one together, but I had seen the Duchene one.
Yeah, but I love that he points out, because like that's fantastic about those trade trees, is you can literally see that Matt Duchene is the reason for his childhood favorite team winning a Stanley Cup is his ass getting sent to Ottawa.
Yeah.
Like, oh, like that's gotta hurt. That's gotta hurt.
Yeah.
Like imagine you're Matt Duchene, you're just like you're like, oh, okay, I'm gonna throw something up on YouTube, and you see Matt Duchene trade tree, and then Steve Dangle just goes, Matt Duchene is the reason that the Colorado Avalanche won the Stanley Cup in 2022.
Yep.
Go, oh.
Yep. Yeah, and then Blackhawks are just gonna be laughably fucking awful. Like this.
Yeah.
Again, we're not justifying these last place teams by talking about their roster. So that's it. Okay.
I'm still taking a look at Chicago really quickly, and I'm about to see if there's anything I want to talk about.
Yeah, I'm just going to move on because I know there isn't. So Here's where things get interesting. I'm trying to see if we have any common ground. Oh, we do.
Sorry. Okay, I got one thing for Chicago.
Yep,
One thing for Chicago. Okay, that Seth Jones contract. Have fun. Okay, now we can move on.
Okay. We both have the Wild at number 3. We kind of alluded to it earlier in the episode where, the dead cap of 12 million plus is really hurting them. And they obviously they couldn't improve and they had to potentially even get a little bit worse, but they're still a good team.
I still look, especially at their top 9, I still see some depth there.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Like, especially with their middle, like down the middle there. Ryan Hartman, Joel Eriksson-Ek, and Sam Steele.
Yeah. They have good value contracts.
Yeah.
Sam Steele signed to like $1 million. Boldy and Rossi are going to be studs this year, and they're on like their maximum, but ELCs, so like still sub $1 million.
Yeah.
Like they're going to have a problem when those guys need to be re-signed because of the Friese and Suter buyouts. But right now, they're still good. They got awesome value contracts. So
Freddie Gaudreau's fine. Tyson Jost on a second line with Eriksson-Ek and Marcus Foligno. That works, I think. And again, these are just the projected ones. And then that top line of Hartman, Zuccarello, and Kaprizov. That still works for me.
That's going to be an issue for a lot of teams.
Like surprisingly, this team is working with a cap from I don't even remember how long ago it might have been. It's $69.5 million. But like,
I'm pretty sure that's around what it was when
Parise and Suter were signed.
No. When
that'd have been great though. I
want to say that's what it was at when McDavid signed his extension. So it kicked in when it was like around the 70s, but I want to say that it was around 69, like back in 2015.
Okay, here we go. Salary cap history. Thank you, Cap Friendly. I love that they have everything. 69 million before McDavid was even signed.
Yeah, but that was the year he signed it, right? Like because that was technically the year he signed the extension, but it didn't. Oh no, before he was even drafted. You mean?
Yeah, that was before he was drafted.
Yeah, sorry.
That was the year that Buffalo and Edmonton and Toronto were all going for it.
Yeah, so that's that's wild. And honestly,
that's 8 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
But Minnesota's managing to, at least on paper, still look competitive in a tight Central Division.
They basically have the cap space of. Oh no, never mind. I was gonna say they basically have like their upper limit is basically the floor for the other teams, but that's not accurate.
Not quite.
No.
Was the floor 61?
61, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so you're playing with 8 million over the floor.
Yeah. And isn't that what Anaheim's doing, basically? Team. I feel like Anaheim's around that. Like,
not to jump, but Minnesota definitely has a more competitive team, I think, than Anaheim does.
No, but that's my point. But they're spending the same amount of money.
Yeah.
Like on players. Which makes it sound really bad for Anaheim. Because
Anaheim is in that transition though now officially, right? Especially with Verbeek, right? It's not I'm tired. I can't even remember the last guy's name. GM.
Bob Murray.
Bob Murray, thank you. God damn it. I'm sorry, everybody. It's not him dicking around anymore, right? It's Verbeek going, okay, we are going to build this up now, like how we should. So, and that does mean moving some guys first here, but like the next year or two, I say.
Yeah. So the Minnesota Wild's current cap hit on Cap Friendly is 69.5 million. We'll round that.
Yeah.
And the Ducks is 64.75 million.
Now, what's the highest cap hit on both teams? Kaprizov, I think, is making like 9 something.
Yeah, he's making like 9 or 9.5. Klingberg is for us at 7 million, and then it's 9 million for Kaprizov.
Okay, so there's Anaheim is the players are making a lot closer together compared to Minnesota, I would say.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So, no, but yeah, it's again, like you can. there's an entire baseball movie based on this idea, right? Of finding like the value contracts and that kind of thing, right? Just guys that'll work. So, and like, don't get me wrong, like there's definitely guys probably on other teams that are in good value contracts that I'm just not really recognizing their name right now because it's 10 o'clock local time. But like for the recognition, at least, this looks fine.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Even the top 6 there for defense, Jonas Brodin, Jared Spurgeon, that works. Jacob Middleton, Matthew Dumba, a little bit worse. Goligoski, Addison is your third pairing. And then my boy Marc-Andre Fleury with Philip Gustafson. That was a decent acquisition as well, and the exchange for Talbot there with Ottawa. So
yeah, for sure.
But
so,
yeah.
Carrying on with the rest of the Central here. Well, I guess I'll give you my top 4 teams and my playoff team. So I have Avalanche, the Preds, the Wild, and then the Stars squeaking in there. That is, I will say, contingent on them signing Jason Robertson in a timely manner.
Yes, and that's where I was kind of looking at this, and I'm like, this could go. They could be a little bit higher with one guy changing things, right?
Yeah. If not, I would switch the Stars and the Blues. If it goes William Nylander in Dallas, then I would put the Blues up at that 4th spot.
That's fair.
And then that would make us very similar in a way. So yeah, I can let you read off yours.
Yeah, I have the Blues sitting in second. So I have from first to fourth, first to fifth.
First to fourth.
Okay,
and then I put in the Blues because of the Star situation.
Oh, okay, gotcha. First to fourth, Avalanche, Blues, Wild, Preds.
Yeah, so we kind of have the same playoff
same idea. Yeah.
I'm a little biased with the Predators because I love what they do.
That's fair.
I
wish they get rid of those yellow helmets. I'm not a fan of that.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's a me thing, though.
Yeah. I don't know. Like with the Blues, in a way, they're similar to the Islanders for me, where they're built a certain way that the regular season doesn't really work for them. But if they make the playoffs, look out, kind of thing. Yeah, I mean, looking at their roster, it's like, okay, this is actually really good, but I don't know. Maybe it's just they have a lot of guys that like were good a couple of years ago, like Torrey Krug, Colton Parayko, Vladimir Tarasenko, Ryan O'Reilly. Like they're still good players, obviously, but it's like, am I just overvaluing them in my head? And they never seem to live up to my expectations, so I'm kind of finally bumping them down. I think that's why I have them lower. But I can see the justification for putting them at second. So
for me, it's the sum of their parts, right? Like this is a team that, looking at it, has depth.
Yeah.
And that is a big thing, especially for the Central Division, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, Tarasenko still went off last year. I could be wrong on this. I think he retracted that he wanted to leave St. Louis.
I think
he
so.
retracted his trade request. So you know that the team's doing well and will probably do all right when your star guy who wanted to leave goes, actually, no, I want to stay here. Sorry for making everybody panic. I was upset that Robert Thomas got taken. I think it was like 2 picks ahead that I was going to take Robert Thomas in one of the fantasy drafts. He got taken. I was like, shit.
Yeah.
Busnevich, can't go wrong there. Ryan O'Reilly, of course, can't go wrong. Jordan Kyrou, I don't feel like he can really go wrong as well. Brandon Saad still works.
Yeah.
Starts to taper off, obviously, with your bottom 6, as every team does. But like it's still decent there. Their defense still looks all right to me. Torrey Krug and Justin Falk to start there. Nick Leddy, Colton Parayko. Parayko makes up that line for me. And then Mikola and Bertuzzo. It is what it is.
Yeah. The goaltending, I'm curious on your thoughts there with Binnington and Greiss.
Now, for the one fantasy draft, I took Binnington as my third goalie. I was surprised he was still available,
which is fine for a third goalie, right?
It might be a sneaky pick, right?
Yeah, I would have. Actually, that was with our draft. I wanted him as well, and I was pissed because you took him like I think a pick before me. Yeah, I think it was literally the pick before me, and I was going to take him, and then you did.
Thomas Greiss is still very serviceable, obviously.
36 years old, by the way.
Greiss is?
Yep.
What the fuck? Okay.
I just think that's a downgrade over Husso. Like they
Oh,
made a
it
mistake letting him
100%
go.
is. It is 100%, but they weren't gonna. They did the hey, you did really well for us, and we're gonna boot the other guy once with Binnington already. I don't think they were gonna do it twice within 5 years.
That's fair. Yeah.
Right. So it was okay. No, we gave this money to Binnington. This is the guy that we said we're not gonna look like Vegas a little bit more to the west and just start booting for the next shiny new thing. So especially in goal, right? So
Yeah.
it was just I think it was just like, Binnington obviously worked for it and that kind of thing and finally got his chance. He's here to stay. Unless he fucks it up, basically. So
Yeah.
and I don't think
just,
last year was a case of him fucking it up.
No.
It was just Huso came out of nowhere, same way that Binnington did.
Just played better than Binnington, straight up. Yeah. So
Binnington's kind of like Bobrovsky, where like it feels like you can almost tell how it's gonna work for the season, right? Of like, is it on year, off year, on year, off year. So
yeah, and I guess I'm on the off year for. Well, no. Well, because I mean,
last year would be a bit more of an off year.
Yeah, I don't know. It's tough to say. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah,
I'm not counting the Blues out, but it's. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, to the Pacific. What everybody has been waiting.
Oh,
for,
we didn't.
I'm sure.
Oh, sorry.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. No, we did. We did talk about bottom four for the Central. Yeah, we're all good.
Yeah. I guess we didn't technically say you had the Stars at 5th, but we did talk about them. So.
Yeah.
And that it's contingent on Robertson.
A little bit, yeah. But at the same time, it's just not the depth is a big thing for me, I guess. I just don't see it as much with the Stars. So, But Jake Ottinger, please win me some games. I have you in 2 of my 4 so far.
Yeah. Okay. Just give me 1 second here.
Actually, no, 3 of 4 because the one I protected him in actually.
Okay. Remember way back when we had our on the clock segment where we had 30 seconds each to talk about?
Oh my God, no, we're not doing that for the division that we both have teams in.
Just only for the top 2 teams. That's it.
Okay, fine. Or is this one you want to go from bottom to top?
I thought about it,
but our division.
We're just getting it out of the way. I gave us a minute each, so we have a little bit more time.
All right.
Because I have the stopwatch. I get to start.
First.
Yeah. Okay. So I have the Oilers at number 1 in the Pacific, and I have the Flames at number 2. And yes, it could technically go either way. Am I a homer? Probably. I just think that everybody else's projections are wrong and mine is right. Is basically what it boils down to.
Everybody's wrong and I'm the only one right.
Yeah,
I love it. That's literally a great way to go about it.
This is my minute. Shut the fuck up. Yes, the Flames got good, and I hate saying that.
Flames. Okay, sorry. Not interrupting.
Huberdeau, yeah, fine. I hope he has an awful year. I hope Mackenzie Weegar has an awful year. I hope that Nazem Kadri has an awful year as a second line center. But I mean, I don't know. I just think that the steps that both of these teams took to get better, and they both got better, the Oilers took better steps to getting better than the Flames did. That's my minute.
And that's your tone on that? God.
Yeah.
Please tell me that's not your alarm clock too.
No, it's not. It used to be, but I hate it now. So, okay, your minute starts in 3, 2, 1.
Okay, again, this could go either way. And I think I talked about this last year and it worked in my favor. The difference for me is defense. Both these teams are depth in forward, especially down the middle, right? With Edmonton, you could have McDavid, Draisaitl, Nugent Hopkins. Nugent Hopkins is projected to be on the left side of Draisaitl this time, but then you got Ryan McLeod and Derek Ryan, who is a solid 4th line centerman, right? That works for me. And I even gave props to Edmonton that if their goaltending looks better, that's a great tandem goaltending, I think, of Jack Campbell and Stuart Skinner. Their defense, though, is where it differs for me. And again, not trying to be a homer. I'm just like, okay, this just looks better. Edmonton, Darnell Nurse, Cody Ceci, that works. Brett Kulak, Evan Bouchard, you're starting to go down. Philip Broberg, Tyson Barrie. Okay. But then you go to Calgary.
Broberg's not going to be the number 3. Just saying. Go ahead.
Okay. Pause it. Who's it going to be then?
Sorry, you have 1 second left, but
can I have a minute and a half? I need Calgary quick.
Oh, what's gonna be his name? Oh my god. Give me a second. Talk about Calgary and then I'll talk about Broberg. Yes, you can have another 30 seconds.
Okay.
Wait. Okay, go ahead.
Calgary defense is Mackenzie Weegar, Chris Tanev, Noah Hannafin, Rasmus Anderson, Nikita Zadorov, Oliver Shillington. Zadorov is the only guy you're probably going to have in that bottom pairing. Anybody else, you can make any combination, I feel like, and it will work great for you. Shillington's going to be gone for a little bit, so you're going to have probably Flames legend Michael Stone throw in there. And again, he's a guy that can work up and down the lineup. You probably don't want him in your top, but he'll work in the second or third line. So defense is what wins it for me.
Okay. In terms of Broberg, like he might be on the starting roster because of cap situation or because of the cap situation the Oilers are in. But he hasn't had a very good camp, so I would say Ryan Murray, or Jason Demers if we sign him off his PTO, or even other prospects that we have in the system like Niemelainen or Samorukov, who probably mean nothing to anybody outside of the NHL organization. But yeah, so I mean, we'll see. But yeah, hoping for Chikrin. And this is more so in general about the models, I guess. And I'm going to take my 30 seconds because you got an extra 30 seconds and I'm an only child, so everything has to be fair. To me, the models that people build to project standings don't take into account like new players or like unproven players. And I think the Oilers have quite a bit of that going on, like where they have a lot of newer guys who don't have NHL experience coming in compared to the Flames, namely Stuart Skinner. So I think their goaltending is maybe undervalued in that respect compared to Calgary. And I think that's maybe where a lot of the models give the Flames the advantage. Okay.
There you go.
We good. Moving on from that. Oh boy, we are very different. Well,
I'm debating if I'm editing here. I'm double checking
that's
on
fair.
something.
Okay. We, as of right now, pending any changes Nate makes in the next 30 seconds, we both have, in no particular order, the Vancouver Canucks, the Vegas Golden Knights, and the LA Kings at 3, 4, and 5. I have the Kings, and then the Canucks, and then the Golden Knights at 3, 4, 5. Temporarily, Nate has Vegas, and then the Canucks, and then the Kings. The reason I have the Golden Knights out of a playoff spot in that 5th spot in the division is they lost both of their goaltenders. Max Pacioretty is, I think actually he's injured right now, and he's probably going to be injured for a while. And if he comes back, he's probably going to get injured again. And then Mark Stone. And then I feel like people hate playing in Vegas. So like this is a case where, unlike the Blues, where the sum of their parts is greater than whatever the line is, with Vegas, like you could look at all the players and be like, oh, this is a good player. Oh, this is a good player. Oh, this is a good player. But like together as a team under the name Vegas Golden Knights, people are like,
fuck those guys now.
yeah. And they're just like not as closely bonded as a team, like say the Blues. So like all that stuff put together, I think things are going to look rough for Vegas. And I think last year with them just missing out of a playoff spot is a glimpse into a dark future for the next few years for them. But obviously they're still good. So 5th is like there's still some good players there, so that's why I have them 5th.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, I'm looking at the cap friendly depth charts instead of daily faceoff for these 3 teams because things are definitely a little out of whack right now. Really? Okay. Cap friendly and daily faceoff have Phil Kessel projected to be the top right winger. Over Mark Stone. I understand some balancing, but like, don't get me wrong. I love Kessel. He's still a fantastic player, but like, top line of the Vegas Golden Knights? Really? Okay.
Yeah. So things are interesting there.
Yeah. Okay. And then last team I wanted to take a look at here.
And also, I know I'm probably going to get shit on here for having the Kings in the third in the division, especially on a Ducks podcast. But they made the playoffs last year. They took the Western Conference final, making Edmonton Oilers to 7 games
out
in the
as
first
much
round.
as you need to.
The Western Conference final, making Edmonton Oilers, who have the best player in the whole world. That's all I can say about that. But they took the Oilers to 7 games in the first round without their number one defenseman in Drew Doughty. And they had another injury too. Arvidsson was out. They were missing some big guys, and they almost made it to the second round. And now they're going to have all these guys back. Again, of course, they could get injured, but they also had some additions in. They haven't really. Actually, no, they haven't really added anybody, but like they're just going to have a healthy team. And Kevin Fiala. That's right. They added 26-year-old Kevin Fiala, who makes $7.875 million to their top 6. That's a big deal. So I think they're going to be even better than last year because of that. Jonathan Quick's still going to be fine. Cal Peterson is going to be fine.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I think they improved a lot, and they still were third in the division last year.
Why did the Pacific
not
suddenly get so hard over the offseason?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, we were talking about that. You were like, I don't know, I think 5 teams are going to come from the Central. And then I was like, you wait. Just you wait. Look at what the Pacific did.
Okay, now that's not to say that 5 teams won't come out of the Central. Those top 3 spots, though, for the Pacific are just going to be harder to get.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I think we both agree, and I think a lot of others do, that it'll be Calgary, Edmonton, 1, 2 in some order. Right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, barring any significant injuries, knock on wood, to any top players on either of those teams.
My opinion is still the wild card is getting taken by 2 Central teams because those teams are just good. That entire division is still better than the Pacific division as a whole as well, I think. But it's gonna be 3, 4 teams in the Pacific, I think, fighting for 3rd spot.
Yeah. Yeah, no, there's definitely going to be for me. Yeah, like the Kings are going to be good, but it's going to be close for sure. So, I just want to say, you're still changing. Okay.
Okay, I'm going like this.
Oh, okay. So I have the Canucks at 4. You've knocked them down to 5 now.
I'm like still on the fence about it. Like, give me one more. You talk about the Canucks. Let me figure out my shit here.
Okay.
I keep second guessing myself with this.
They were a young team last year and the year before, and they still basically have the same team as they have had, but A, they're not going to get bent over and fucked by COVID, but B, their young guys just keep taking that next step every year, and I think that is really what they're counting on. Like, they're not trying to bring in like, let's bring in this guy to improve our team. Let's bring in this guy to improve our team. We have another year of Quinn Hughes. We have another year of Brock Besser. We have another year of Elias Pettersson. And like, those players were already good in their early 20s. And now they're entering their primes. Elias Pettersson turning 23. Quinn Hughes being 22 and already a stud NHL defenseman. Like, these guys are just, I just see them as like making big steps individually that benefit the team, I guess, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I think it does.
Yeah. I'm not 100% sold on Martin Spencer backing up Thatcher Demko, unless Cap Friendly is leading me astray here. Oh, I guess there's Michael DiPietro too.
I would lean
and Colin Delia. Okay.
DiPietro.
Yeah. So
no, wait, Delia has, if it's who I'm thinking of, has NHL experience.
He does, yeah.
God, DiPietro and God, Abbotsford's goaltending.
Mm-hmm.
In the AHL, Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
that's
I know.
Good.
Right? Yeah. So, like, I don't know. I just think,
Vegas looking over and going, "Hey, Vancouver, what can we do?"
Yeah, I think a combination of their top guys are another year older and likewise have improved individually. And maybe they won't just get the shit end of the hockey stick
Yeah.
this year. Just maybe. And then maybe they'll actually live up to their potential. Those two things in combination, also in combination with the Vegas Golden Knights, I think going to be really awful this year.
Yeah.
Compared to what people expect.
Yeah.
That's why I have them at 4. And now you have them at 3. Make up your goddamn mind.
Okay, I've made up my mind. All Canadian Pacific Division. I'm sorry, Anaheim fans, but I was taking a look at the daily faceoff. That's why I had to pull up the cap friendly depth charts, because I was like, there's somebody missing on Vancouver here. And it's Brock Besser.
Mm-hmm.
So that definitely helps a little bit on their right side there. And their defense goes a little bit. It's the defense works. It works. But you're definitely definitely in the defensive end, though. You are relying on Thatcher Demko 100%, which that's not a bad thing to do either. I'm going to be doing that in at least one of my fantasy drafts this year.
Yep.
So, but the top 6 does look better, at least for Vancouver, right? Center depth of JT Miller, Bo Horvat, Elias Pettersson. I think that works.
I would say so. Yeah.
Tanner Pearson, Connor Garland in there as well. Once Besser is back, right? Like that top end works a bit works better, I think. So
for sure.
Ilya Mikheyev as well helps in like a depth, more of like a middle 6 kind of role on the right hand side there. Looking at the defenseman, Ekman Larson, Myers, works. Quinn Hughes, fuck yes. Luke Shen works. Travis Dermott, Tucker Pullman works, kind of thing. But you're definitely looking at that top 6 and Demko, even Spencer Martin. Actually, that's who they have on the depth chart here, at least.
Yeah.
That 100% works. I think.
For sure. Yeah.
So
I agree.
They have a pretty good chance. But the one thing for me, and yes, I know they had a good chunk of a season with it now, I'm still looking at the Bruce Boudreau effect in Vancouver. Fans are still chanting.
That too. Yeah.
Like, Bruce, there it is, right? And Boudreau is a coach, like, you saw it with Washington, just like the guys, he just lets guys play, do what they need to, right? And you saw how it worked for Vancouver, right? They went from like very restricted in Travis Green's system into Bruce just going, like, telling Besser just shoot more.
Yeah. And then
Besser's like,
happened?
Oh, okay, sure. Goes out, scores a ton, and Vancouver's only a couple points out of a playoff spot, right? Like,
fuck, they hired Bruce Boudreau a week before. They're probably in the playoffs last year.
Yeah. No, wait, sorry. One more time.
If they had hired Bruce Boudreau a week before.
Oh, a week
last season.
Sorry, I heard it as a week before the playoffs. I'm like,
oh no. Yeah, a week before when they actually did.
Yeah.
Then
they would have made the playoffs.
Then they would have been a playoff team. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
you can make the argument for that, I think.
Yeah. Because they looked really good under Boudreau. And like, blah blah blah, new coach bump, whatever. But it was something special.
Something about Bruce.
Yeah.
So
for sure.
Which, like, when he was available, even I said for Anaheim, if we were to play Dallas Eagles, that'd be somebody I'd be okay with bringing back, right? He was already here once, and with a young team like this, right? Like, it's kind of similar, but not in the same way with Vancouver, with like some of the players that you have, right? So never know what could have happened here in Anaheim.
Yeah.
I have Vegas sitting in 4th. It's hard to deny the top 6, and because I'm compelled to say it, it's also you cannot deny these nuts. But like, Vegas's defense, if Vancouver had Vegas's defense, I'd be more set on them being that 3rd spot, right? Vegas's defense, I think, is what's going to hold them into games this year, right? Because
that's true.
They got a fairly good top 6 forwards, right? So like the projected, but again, like we were talking, like Phil Kessel's the projected top guy on the right wing at 35 with Jack Eichel and Riley Smith. Sure. Chandler Stevenson, Jonathan Marchessault, and Mark Stone on the second line. That looks right. That looks better.
Mm-hmm.
You can maybe swap Stone and Kessel,
Yeah.
and that works great. And then it starts to dip off, I think. Brett Howden, William Karlsson, who's like one of the last remaining original guys, Michael Amadio, and then Nicholas Waugh, William Carrier, Keegan Kolsar. Yeah, it drops off. Yeah, the defense, I got no real issue with. You know me, you know I'm a goalie, and I look at this goaltending tandem of Aiden Hill and Logan Thompson and go, there's potential for one guy, and for the other guy, okay. Thompson's obviously the guy that has potential
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And they're only a year apart, but Hill's had more of a chance for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And like I remember, I think was it last year he had originally signed in Toronto, I think. And or was the pandemic year. And I remember him like being quoted as like, I'm not here. Like everyone's putting me as the third goalie. I'm not here to be the third goalie. And then he ended up as like the fifth.
Yeah.
like I understand having confidence in yourself, but there's some times where maybe we talked about it with Trevor Zegras. Like it's bordering that line of confident and cocky. And for Aiden Hill, who wasn't able to get a starting job in San Jose, to go to Toronto with at the time Jack Campbell and I forget who the other guy was.
Is it Mrazek?
Was it Mrazek last? Oh, I forget which year it was though. Was the issue
Yeah.
last year was Campbell and Mrazek? Yes.
Yeah, but if it was the year before,
The year before would have been Anderson and Mrazek, or no, Anderson and Campbell, I think. Or was Campbell midway through that season?
I don't remember.
Fuck. Yeah, the last couple of years are a blur, but yeah, just Aiden Hill, just kind of like, oh, like,
oh, it was Hutchinson. Oh no, wait, no, he only played 8 games. It was Anderson and Campbell. You're right.
Okay, yeah, because I'm like, you're not gonna beat out those two. Sorry, dude.
Yeah.
and if you can't beat out Hutchinson, then
yeah, it looks rough. So.
Yeah. So and now you're the backup, and you're maybe even getting looked at just because you have more experience to be the opening night goalie for the Vegas Golden Knights. What the fuck?
Yeah, all it took was the 2 top guys to go down.
Yeah,
for you to have a chance.
If I'm, I believe it's Bruce Cassidy now, Vegas Golden Knights coach. If I'm Bruce Cassidy, unless there's something else happening in preseason that I don't know about, I'm looking at Logan Thompson to start.
Oh, for sure. I mean,
right?
he earned it last year, right?
But I mean, like at least for like the home opener, like you're going with what you saw worked.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Right. Or like has the potential or that kind of thing. Unless Hill does something spectacular, he's kind of lost it. But like even then, those two, yikes! Like it's again, you have the plus side in Thompson. That's really it.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't look great otherwise. And Bressois is out right now. Leonard's going to be out for the entire season. So like it's up in the air because Vegas is, if they want a chance, Vegas is going to have to do something about their goaltending.
Mm-hmm. And
you're probably going to pull a Vegas and you're going to get rid of somebody for something shiny, I think.
Oh, they have to. They have no other choice.
Yeah, but I mean like they're going to go for a big acquisition.
Oh, well, yeah.
In goal.
Yeah.
So you're going to lose something significant, I think.
Yeah. So moving on here to the rest of the Pacific Division. Obviously, we didn't talk about the Ducks in our top 5, so we're sorry. But
not yet. Oh yeah, I have the Kings in the 5th.
In the top, yeah, but
they look good. But Vegas is the up in the air for me. Those two could flip flop.
Yeah, we haven't talked about the Ducks yet. And last year we both put them at 7th, and that's where they finished. So we looked like bad guys, but then we were right. And now this year we have them in 30%. 6th. We both have them in 6th spot, the Ducks. And for me, it's because there's still the question marks around a lot of the guys. Like, yeah, we could talk about what the opening night roster might look like, but which guys are going to take a step? Like, is Comtois going to rebound? Like, there's all these question marks around the team, and we've obviously improved. So
yeah,
that's not a question. And I think putting them at sixth is fine, but like I can't imagine a world where the Ducks are finish higher than the Golden Knights, even though we just trashed them for a while, or better than the Kings. And then even the Canucks, and then obviously Oilers and Flames. Like, so it's, again, prove us wrong. If Anaheim Ducks, if you're listening, excuse me, Trevor Zegras, Dallas Eakins, Drysdale, prove us wrong. we would be glad to be wrong here if the Ducks could finish higher than sixth place. But
if we could
realistically,
do postseason Ducks hockey in season 4, would be fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely.
We thought we were going to get in season 3, and then shit hit the fan. So
yeah. So yeah, I think that's just a realistic expectation for the Ducks. And then we both have the Kraken at 7 and the Sharks at 8.
Do you want to? This is the one, because it's in our division. Do you want to give reasons for the Kraken in San Jose?
Yeah, no, we can. I think.
Okay.
I mean, for San Jose, like, what are you doing?
Can that be the clip right there? Just...
Oh yeah. Sure. Yeah. Like, what?
Like, it stops right here.
That's
how you get people to tune in.
They have iced essentially the same team for the last 3-4 years. And honestly, I never really followed the Sharks until we started doing this podcast, because division rival and state rival and all that stuff. And they've kind of just always been the same. They got some good guys. Tomas Hertl, Logan Couture, Erik Karlsson.
Sorry, we might be changing Central.
Okay.
4-year, $31 million contract for Jason Robertson. About 15 minutes ago.
4-year, $31 million. That's 5 point. Oh no, sorry, that's 7.5. Oh no, just shy of 8 million. Right? 4-year, 31.
Yeah, I'll do the math on it here quick.
Okay.
I have a calculator right here. What was it? 31 divided by 4?
Yeah.
7.75.
Okay.
7.75. Yep. For the next 4 years. That works. Damn.
Yeah.
Man, the dude's gonna get paid though in 4 years.
Yeah. Back to San Jose though.
Yeah. Sorry about that. That was just breaking
news. No, that's good. That's good. Like, what? Like, their forwards haven't really changed. Their defense, they're still just overpaying for Erik Karlsson, and who's still a good defenseman, but sorry, not $11.5 million. Vlasic, sure, that's fine. They got rid of Burns, and then their goalies are still awful. They have James Reimer and Kaapo Kähkönen, who, yes, Kähkönen's fine, but like, he's not going to be the guy to carry you, because you're not relying on James Reimer for 40 games. You're maybe giving him 20. You're telling me Kaapo Kähkönen is going to win you enough games in the 60 starts he gets that's going to be fine, when the defense you're putting in front of him is like 50% Erik Karlsson, Marc-Edouard Vlasic, who's 35 freaking years old, and then beyond that, you just have a bunch of nobodies. Mario Ferraro, sure, fine, but he's only 24 and he's not fantastic. And then after that, like, it blows my mind that the Sharks think that they can still ice this team and it's going to be good. And it's not. It hasn't been good.
They did change up their GM this year. I think we are going to start to see some change here.
Oh,
just in regards to like them icing the same team. He came in like, I think, a week or 2 before the draft.
Yeah. No. So that's like, they are making steps that way, but
yeah,
for this season, then they're not going to be any better. I don't know. I don't know. Am I being too harsh, or do you feel the same way?
I look at the goaltending and it works as a tandem, because even like looking at their stats from last year, like, mind you, Kähkönen was playing more Minnesota, but the numbers line up to be about a tandem. Reimer with 48 games, Kähkönen with 36. Both guys are still under 3 goals a game average, 911 and 912 save percentages respectively.
Yeah, like those are decent numbers.
Both didn't have losing records. Kakinen, again, on Minnesota, but Reimer had a winning record by 2 games with San Jose, though. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that, like I look at that, and it's the goaltending I don't have an issue with for where they are right now as a team.
Yeah, sorry, I should clarify. It's my issue is the goaltending given what you've put in front of them.
Oh yeah, that
So,
yes, okay. Sorry,
yes.
I thought you were just like hammering on the goaltending. I'm like, it doesn't look that bad actually. But
no, yeah, like it's
depending on
like it's not the
utilization.
worst goaltending. Like it's the best goaltending they've iced since I've been paying attention to them. That's for sure. But like it's not.
Yeah.
It's not like
Remember the days of just potting multiple on Martin Jones?
oh,
Those
were
were
good
the
days.
days.
Yeah. Like I don't know. It's just yeah, their goaltending just doesn't scream to me like John Gibson and Anthony Stolarz, where it's like, okay, you've got like guys that you know you can rely on, you know, like yes, Kakinen and Reimer are good. I'm not trying to say you can't rely on them, but it's not like they can't outperform what you put in front of them, if that makes sense.
Yeah, they are going to be a tandem pair 100% because neither guy, Kakinen hasn't proved that he can play a crap ton of games yet. He kind of got forced to last year with Minnesota.
Yeah.
Which, you know, he did show a good chunk, right? That he was fine. But it eventually kind of went off a little bit. Talbot came back perfect. He goes then to San Jose because Fleury comes in. Reimer's just more of an age thing at this point, but then again, the league's getting younger and careers are lasting longer at the same time, right?
Somehow.
So
yeah,
it's as a tandem, these two will be fine. You can't overplay either because the one you don't want to risk the injury to, and the other you're just not sure if he can do it yet.
Yeah.
Or if he will be able to, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. The defense, like you were talking about, Carlson, Ferraro, Vlasic. Okay, that works. Unless I'm missing something about Harrington.
No, I don't think you are.
Smek and Benning. What the? Okay, sure.
Yeah,
like
and Erik beyond
Karlsson's like half the guy that he was because he can't turn on his one fucking foot.
Yeah, like sure, Erik Karlsson at 50% is still like a serviceable second pairing defenseman. But,
but not as a top line guy making $11.5 million, and that's where he was definitely making for what he did, right?
Yeah,
so,
and even if you put Vlasic as that number one guy, which I think he could be, like I have nothing against Vlasic. He's a decent defenseman. Put Erik Karlsson at 2, like sure, that's fine. But then where is the support? You're putting defensive liabilities with these guys who already are kind of just okay at defense. Like Erik Karlsson's not going to be able to make up for Matthew Benning's fucking anemic offense, and neither is Vlasic.
So I haven't heard that word in a while.
Yeah, I don't know what it is about San Jose, man. It just gets me riled how bad they are. It's like
it was Doug Wilson is what it was. Doug Wilson left this mess, and in a couple years we'll be talking about the Sharks. We'll be talking about all 3 California teams in the next. I'd take a guess in the next 5 years. We're talking about easily, it's the 3 California teams in the top of the Pacific again.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised.
For sure. Yeah.
So
yeah. I mean that's what's going on in San Jose. Even the forwards there, Couture, Hurdle, Meyer. After that, sure. Yeah, exactly.
Works. Yes. Like
these names you have presented to me, Cap Friendly, are NHL player names, but
they have NHL points, but that's about it.
Beyond that, like I don't know if you're putting. They're just playing above their pay grade, I think.
Yeah.
Or what their pay grade should be. So
yeah. And then Seattle. This team just needs to, and again, they were like kind of thrown together. You didn't really know. Seattle, like the front office of Seattle definitely didn't utilize what they could have for the draft, right? They could have done a fantastic draft. Yes, I know the EA and NHL franchise is not gospel by any means. But on Cap Friendly, I remember, and I think they still have it actually. It's just like in the archive thing that you could like draft your Seattle Kraken. right?
Mhm.
And I went through still a cap compliant team, and I threw it into NHL. I threw everything on like the hardest difficulties and just simmed games, right? Against would have been like last year's Calgary Flames, at the time the Stanley Cup winning Tampa Bay Lightning. Like I simmed it against good teams, and I think I simmed 5 games just for fun, kind of thing.
Mhm.
Just like had it on the TV in the background kind of thing as I was like doing homework or doing something else.
Mhm.
And I think they only lost 1 game, right? And
Yeah.
again, I know EA NHL is not gospel by any means, but like
Mhm.
this team, it just shows that I think this team could have been a lot better
Yeah.
from the start, right? It could have been similar to
Mhm.
Vegas where they're competitive right away.
Yeah.
I
I
understand
think
wanting to take the long road and do what
Mhm.
you want kind of thing,
and
but
do it right. Yeah.
at the same time, yeah, like yes, it's gonna take some time. This team could maybe do something. They just need to gel is the thing. And last
Yeah.
year, that team didn't really seem to gel for whatever reason.
Until the end of the
Grubauer,
year.
yeah, Grubauer didn't do great. Oh, hey, speaking of Martin Jones, Martin Jones, he's there now.
Mhm.
I just saw his name.
Yeah, I just saw that too, but yeah.
The defense just sorry, Grubauer definitely didn't play great, but wasn't helped by his defense whatsoever. And this team tried to be like the Islanders in terms of their scoring, right? Like, okay, like we should only need a few because we'll be fine defensively. But when the defense, the goaltending is not there, you got to put the fucking puck in the net. And they weren't able to do that.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
it was like, okay, here's the plan, and here's how the team could work, and it just didn't.
Yeah. No, for sure. Going back to what you were saying about how they could have put a better team together, I think with what's going on or what's been going on in Vegas for the last couple of years, I think eventually we'll look back and we'll say, oh no, Seattle made the right call by not just trying to put the best team together that they possibly could for year one, because Vegas did that and then things started to fall apart and they didn't have a backup plan. Whereas Seattle is like, okay, we're going to put together a decent team. Let's build up, our prospect pool and our AHL team, and let's get guys working together, or whatever the case might be. And obviously, it's only year 2 for them, so it's hard to say where they're going to go from here. But I think later down the road, when you can look at the first 10 years of Vegas and the first 10 years of Seattle, I think Seattle will have been in a better place by the end of year 10 than Vegas will be. I think I am.
Yeah.
And again, this is just my opinion, and it's obviously totally speculation. But yeah, I think Seattle's they're doing it right. I think they improved this year over last year in just some of the acquisitions that they got, some of the draft picks that they've gotten, like Matty Beniers. They brought him at the end of the season, and that was
look good,
phenomenal.
Yeah,
he had like 9 points in 8 games or something like that.
Yeah,
like that doesn't just happen, especially not at the end of the season when teams are pushing for the playoffs. Like that's nuts. Yeah, and then I mean, I don't know. I just think they just got a little bit better, not much, but just like a little bit. Like I think they added Andre Burakovsky. Did they not? Or has he always been there?
No, I think he was always there.
Okay.
I'm double checking here. Signed. Oh, no, you're right. Yep, they just acquired him.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, July 13th.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, that helps.
Yeah, sure. Ryan Donato, I guess, is a new signing.
Yep.
Oh no, they signed him
July 27th.
Oh yes. No, but they had signed him last year to a 1-year deal.
Oh well. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's where I thought he was there. Who else is there? They've traded for Bjorkstrand. Was that this offseason trade? Yes, from Columbus.
Yeah.
That's right.
Because that was one that I remember everyone was like, damn, Seattle did it all right with that.
Yeah. And then signing Justin Schultz, I don't think is a bad option either. 2 years, $3 million per year. Good help on defense there. I mean, yeah, their goaltending is still suspect, but like you said, Grubauer's not going to have a worse year. And
you would hope not.
Yeah, right.
889 save percentage and an 18 and 31 That is not showing overtime, right? But just 18 wins to 31 losses. Yikes. When you're getting paid just south of $6 million.
Yeah. So I think like there's still a lot of
and sorry,
growth.
Oh, yeah,
go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead. Make your point.
Okay. Yeah. I was just going to say, I think there's still a lot of growth to do with Seattle, but considering they were 8th place by a mile last year, 60 points, whereas Anaheim had 76, and we know how bad it was in Anaheim here. Like that's pretty rough for Seattle to only have 60 points. And what's that in the league? Yeah, 30th. Like they're not going to be that bad this year. I think respectably they'll, instead of 60 points, they might get 70. They might push 80 depending on how things go and if they can catch teams at the right point. But that would be a stretch. So I'd put them. I'd put them around 25th overall. So just the next step is kind of where I see them. Yeah.
Okay. Now, 2 things. Now, I was talking about how Kemper was going from a solid team in Colorado to just somewhere else, right? In this case, Washington. Take a look at the previous guy before Kemper. Philip Grubauer was behind a very good Colorado team that didn't change a whole heck of a lot between like last year and the year before that. Right? And Grubauer fell off the face of the fucking earth. Like, yes, behind a lot less of a good team.
Yeah, you can't compare Seattle to
Washington. But I think it just does show that Colorado as a team had something there.
Oh, for sure. So, yeah. Is Kemper going to put up the same numbers as he did last season in Colorado? I would be very surprised if he did. But
what did he put up even?
Good enough for a Stanley Cup anyways. But no, it's it's definitely different coming from Colorado where everything's done right and going to especially a brand new market in Seattle. So
Kemper put up a .921 save percentage, 37 wins, 12 loss. Yeah, he's probably not doing that with Washington. He'll get close, but he's not going to do that. The other point I wanted to make though is because you were talking about how in like the 10 years, like how you think Seattle will probably look better than Vegas, right? Now, I'm not disagreeing with that. However, I think with what was available to Seattle, because the whole thing with Vegas is they go after the shiny new thing, right? And that's got them screwed in the cap right now.
Yeah.
You could have been Seattle taking a pretty good team and not done what Vegas did and trade your top end guys like your Nick Suzuki, right? Who's now the captain of the most storied franchise in hockey, the Montreal Canadiens, right? Yeah. Or there's a couple other guys that they had chipped off as well. I can't remember them offhand, right? But like, because especially for that first year, you're taking high picks, right? Seattle had the 2nd overall pick, right? Yeah. And they could have had that whether or not they had gone with the team that they did or gone with a better team that they could have, right?
Yeah. No, that's fair. And that's why I'm saying it's too early to tell because like we have no idea how things are going to play out for Seattle. But yeah, we'll have to see. So
sorry, I'll finish my point here in a second, but I'm just seeing our buddy Oscar is in the chat. We haven't seen Oscar in forever.
Yeah.
Can I find this episode after this live stream on your channel? Yes, it will be posted right away. Once it's done, you'll be able to rewatch the whole thing. We're almost coming up on 3 hours. So we are wrapping up here right away, but you'll be able to watch our full breakdown and whatnot. Good to see you, buddy.
Yeah, hope you're doing well. Yeah, it's been a while, hey. It'll also be available on Apple Podcasts and Spotify tomorrow, but on YouTube basically right away. Yeah.
So, go ahead. What I meant though was like they always went after the shiny new thing. Seattle could have been okay. We'll take the thing, not trade off all of our prospects right away. Like still just have a competitive team and see what happens, right?
Yeah.
And then you can make a bit of a push, but not doing the. It almost kind of works for Vegas when you just think of like Vegas, the city kind of thing, right?
Oh yeah,
like
for
big
sure.
and flashy and whatnot. It works for the team until it doesn't, and the cap doesn't go up because of COVID and unforeseen circumstances as well. I'm sure like the cap definitely like being crunched for the last couple of years definitely has had an effect on the Vegas Golden Knights as well, right?
Oh, for sure, yeah.
But as 31 other teams, we're gonna fucking laugh at them. Because they did it to themselves at the same time.
Yeah.
So, but Seattle could have been this is how you do it over Vegas, right? Like, if Seattle got more competitive for longer. Like out of the gate, Seattle makes the playoffs year one, right? Like Vegas did.
Yeah.
Right. And just has continued success because, yes, you do look at consecutive playoff appearances, right? That shows that you were able to play well over 82 games.
Yeah.
Right. If Seattle had longer success, then it'd be 4 years for Vegas, right? You could have already called that a starting success compared to, right? So, and I'm sure if Vegas had won the Stanley Cup in the first year, actually, no, I'm not sure. It could have either been, okay,
It could have been different,
we're still gonna keep going for it, or it was Bill Foley saying we're gonna win a cup in the first 5 years. Unfortunately, they didn't, but it could have been the 1 year. Okay, now let's just play this out. Right?
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
You got people in the door, you got them to start, and there you go. So many what ifs with Vegas.
Yeah.
Right. Like that could be an entire Marvel episode on its own, but
yeah, of course. Yeah. But yeah, it ended. I mean, that's not really, we kind of went on a tangent there with from division predictions, but yeah, it's definitely a different path for the Kraken, but yeah, we'll see. Ducks are going to be better than them. That's what matters.
Yeah. Oscar asking, last question, is the 100th episode of the channel still up? I went looking for it the other day. Carter might have to take a look and see.
Could you not find it?
I couldn't.
Because it should still be up. Yeah, I'll take a look.
But yeah.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, and I'll let you know. So hopefully you can find it. But yeah, if you don't, let me know. If not, I have it saved somewhere too. So yeah, Oscar, if you need anything from it, you can DM us because I know you were in the episode for part of it. So if you want a clip from it, I can see if I can get something to you because I'm pretty sure I still have the video. I think that's the only one I've saved the video of, but we'll see. Should still be up there is the point. But yeah, okay, well that's our division predictions, I guess. So we'll potentially put this into a graphic and put it up somewhere. If not, then hopefully you were writing it down as you were listening to the episode. Otherwise you got another 3 hours ahead of you.
Look probably for the weekend or early next week and I'll post. Actually, I might do it early next week because I know there's like a couple games over the weekend, like during the preseason still, that a couple regular season start. Yeah. But realistically, the regular season for majority of the league starts, I think, Tuesday or Wednesday.
I think it's the Tuesday. There's like 4 games and then the rest are Wednesday or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's something like that. So yeah, well.
Which also keep an eye on our social media for next Wednesday. What's going to happen with the show?
Because the episode is when the episode is supposed to be is when the game is on. So
yeah,
we'll figure something out and let you guys know what's going to go on there. But yeah, okay. That wraps up this episode of the Quack Report, I do believe. Let us know what your division predictions are as well. Either tag us in them on social media or feel free to type them out in your notes and DM us a screenshot or whatever the case might be, and we'll or tell us how bad our picks are. You can do that, of course, too.
Yeah.
You can tell me how awful it is that I put the Bruins at 7th in the division. You can at Carter_Potts, POTTS_97 on Twitter. And Nate, where can they make fun of one of your predictions?
Which prediction do we want to make fun of? I don't know. I feel like all mine are actually kind of sound.
Yeah,
I'm not trying to be biased there. Okay,
I mean, maybe putting the Senators up at 3.
Sure, if you want to roast
that's probably
me
the most controversial
Senators
one.
at 3, you can do that to me at Tate Nomas, TATENHOMAS, and I will tell you that you're probably wrong.
Probably,
just like I'm probably wrong too.
And just like I'm probably wrong.
It'll be great.
We can all be probably wrong together.
2 negatives make a positive. Only in math, not in life. I learned that the hard way. I will also be Carter. I will also be telling my uncle about your Bruins prediction.
Oh yeah.
We were talking.
Let me know how that goes.
Yeah, sorry, really quick, and then we'll wrap up. Just we were talking because it was I went to my cousin's. I was about to say funeral. My cousin's wedding.
She's quite the opposite.
Quite the opposite. Yeah, wedding this weekend, and so I'm sitting at a table with my uncle who played a few years with the Boston Bruins, and they were kind of talking of like, hey, you got to bring the show over to like do an episode in his house. And I'm kind of thinking in my head, I'm like, okay, well, it is an Anaheim show, but that would be something cool to do, or that sort of thing, or like at least just kind of like share some stuff because he has a bunch of NHL stuff like from his time and from other guys and whatnot. I bought a jersey That would have been like the same one that he would have worn in the early 90s there with Boston. And I remember I texted him a picture of it and I was like, hey, I got this blank jersey. Who are some guys that I should maybe look at putting on it? And he just starts rattling off Hall of Famers, Ray Bork, Cam Neely, Adam Oates. And I'm just like, oh, okay, what about that Locker guy? I heard he was all right. And he just goes, don't waste your fucking money. But one of the things that he was telling me about though, was he has, if you're like a hockey history nut, this will be kind of cool. My uncle's jersey was the last jersey to leave the ice at the old Boston Garden. So he has that hanging up in a frame in his basement, he said.
Nice.
So yeah.
Yeah, no, that's pretty cool.
So we never really talk a whole lot about his NHL time, actually. A lot of it's been like secondary stories for me, but with the amount that we talked like at that wedding, I'm gonna ask him some more stories. So
cool. Yeah, that'll be fun.
Maybe we should have him, even though he like never had anything with Anaheim. It'd be kind of fun.
I mean,
maybe have him.
Yeah, I mean he's still hockey, so it'd be cool. Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
cool.
It's decided. Yeah. So you can also follow the show at Quack Report Pod on all the socials, and the Quack Report is what you can Google to find the live stream and our YouTube channel on YouTube there. Thank you guys very much for tuning in. We will be back very soon. And next time we chat, we will have real regular season Ducks hockey games to talk about.
It's going to be great.
It's going to be awesome. And until then,
Dallas
have a good week. See you later.